anybody hear me? I can't hear anything.
Andre, good morning, Andre. I heard you.
Okay, thank you very much. I can hear you too.
The California Nonprofit Mutual Benefit Corporation. It's our monthly meeting. It's Tuesday, December 14th, time at 9:30. And we looking on around here and on the internet here on the Zoom, we do have a quorum. Okay, so I'm going to ask Director Lee to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, directors, we're going to look at the agenda. Can we approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
I second that.
All right, we have Director Blackwell moved and we have a second, so the agenda is approved as written. Now, item number 5, approval of the minutes. I'll go through them one by one. 5A, the minutes for October 12th, 2024, the 46th United Annual Meeting. Are there any corrections or deletions of these minutes? Hearing none, seeing none, they're accepted by unanimous consent.
Yes, Anthony, I think some of us were not at those early October meetings, so we could hardly approve the minutes and would have to abstain, I think. I could be wrong.
Well, you can abstain if you want, but you can also approve them if you look through them and don't see anything, so it's up to you.
All right, well, I'll approve them.
All right, those minutes are approved. Now go to 5B, October 12th, 2021, the 46th United Organization Meeting. Are there any objections to approving these minutes? I don't see any on the monitor. I see no hands raised here, so those minutes are approved. Thank you. October 28th, this is 5C, Agenda Prep Meeting. Those minutes. I see no objections to the minutes here on the board or on my monitor here, so they are approved. 5D, November 9th, regular open meeting, the minutes. I don't see any objections on the monitor or here at the board, so they're approved by unanimous consent. Thank you. Number 6, report of the chair. Well, there's two things. Director Blackwell and I met yesterday with Jeff and him, and I'll let him report on some of the issues we discovered. Discussed. One of the big issues is retention of bargaining and non-bargaining employees. Okay, and now to begin, I like to just quote from Robert's Rules. I know the book is very big and complicated, but if you read the forward section, XLIX, and if you can deal with that, it helps you understand the rest of the book. And it says, the great lessons of democracies to learn are for the majority to give the minority a full, free opportunity to present their side of the case. Then, for the minority, having failed to win a majority to their views, gracefully to submit and to recognize the action as that of the entire organization, and cheerfully to assist to carrying it out until they, the minority, gain or secure an appeal. So the book may be constant, but that's the heart of the whole Robert's Rules. And that's all I have to say for the chair's remarks. Now, item number 7, open forum. Do we have any speakers?
There are no speakers at this time.
Okay, thank you, Grant. All right, now, there's no, it's number 8, since there's no
Is
speaker.
if there are any email comments,
Okay,
they may
read the
be read at
emails,
this
please,
time.
Grant. Okay, you can read the email.
Morning. I have 6 member email comments. RC Russell 118. Thank you for the opportunity to share my thoughts regarding insurance costs which are passed on to residents. An election failed to produce sufficient voters. Do you wonder why? Who didn't vote? How many of our residents who do not speak English? How about those with dementia and other health issues being well out of touch with life in general, unable to vote, as well as unqualified? Also, for those of us able to read and write English, consider how difficult reading about insurance is for everyone other than perhaps an insurance agent who understands such matters. The cost of the insurance is passed to our HOA charges, which are at an alarming high already. An added pass-on have to move out of their forever homes due to the malmanagement by our association. How about considering we all want lower costs? About considering companies provide what we need and negotiate such a large package for them. I'm none experts. I know you all mean well, but the truth is none of us are likely experts in what a city of our size needs. I disagree with yet more increase to our HRA along with our wasteful matters I cannot address at this time told to the single subject of insurance. Thank you. Annette Ridley, 231H. I'm writing regarding a couple of safety issues here in the village. Recently, we were informed that the board has decided to put patio furniture in the cul-de-sacs. That is very strange to say the looking for the addition of light and always get the same reply. It's not in the budget. Trying to find one way around this very large and very dark community after dark is while walking her dog after dark and was on the sidewalk for over an hour after tripping on the sidewalk near the very dark, poorly lit cul-de-sac next to her house. So first question, why is money being spent on such a useless project that no one cares about or will use, but not on a safer lighting? The second question, 2, why are we not enforcing mask mandates or proof of vaccinations at indoor events like concerts, etc., in Clubhouse 8 or in the gym? What good does it do to require your staff to wear them when you have this crazy and over the place among your residents? Have you not heard there's a new variant about which ability to get around of the current vaccines, how contagious it is, and how deadly it can be? To stop worrying, apply, and start worrying about an outbreak among the residents, most who moved here to be safe. Just saying. We are becoming more disillusioned by this board and their inability to address the concerns of the residents. You are raising the fees on a regular basis, even during employees were laid off, and so we have received very poor services. Where did all the money go the last 20 months? Anyway, I would greatly appreciate a response, a real response to the above stated questions. This is a call regarding our safety. Thank you for your time. Robert and Teresa Cameron, 2063A. The purpose of this letter is to address a concern for the United Mutual of Laguna Woods Village. We regret that we are all ill-informed when it comes to the functioning of the village, specifically our own mutual. Our manor number 2063A, which puts us in the United Mutual Cooperative. We were recently informed by that we are unable to secure a loan against our property, even though it is paid in full due to the grossly uninsured nature of the United Mutual. According to this particular lender, UCB, the United Mutual has been dropped by the federal banking institutions such as Fannie Mae because our insurance is not adequate to cover. Not sure if inadequacy extends to the other mutuals here at the village, but since that we are in the dire strait with our ability to leverage our property and may be near to substantial decrease in our property values because of this. Our hopes are that the mutual and its board of directors are prudent enough to see this problem and deal with it effectively. We can probably expect substantial increases in our monthly dues, but that should be expected given the board of directors' history of concerns and complaints that we have while living here in the village. We hope that the recipient of this letter can address these issues or at the very least provide us with a return letter indicating that we should be well or that the village is moving towards that direction. We wish to resume our leisure and work life place. Dan and Cynthia Schaefer, 207F. First, I would like to thank the member of the United Board for acting so quickly to review and consider the need of the residents of Cul-de-sac 51 to continue our after our non-compliant tables and chairs are removed. We greatly appreciate the prospect of newer, nicer tables and chairs. Having looked over the bolted-down picnic table and the movable furniture, I believe that the stationary setup does not have the backrests which are needed for some of our more fragile neighbors, and being unmovable, we will have difficulty rearranging for a speech or circle group. The movable furniture is not only cheaper, but more versatile options for us. You have mentioned the possibility of theft. Having worked for several large bureaucracy, I would like to suggest putting stickers saying property of Laguna Woods Village. You could even stencil our Laguna Woods logo on the tabletop in the color of the table, marker, or something similar, or going down one of the legs of each chair or table with a subtle property of. If the furniture is easily identified, it is likely to be taken as it is outdoor furniture and the. Again, thank you for the accommodating our residents and please support the movable furniture options. Linda Willen 902Q. I object to the using United funds to purchase patio furniture for a common area in United. This just opens a can of worms for similar requests throughout the United. Thank you. Roberta Burke, 933B. Please advise when the pines, California peppers will be trimmed along the lower creek of 933. The pines have not years. They are too top heavy. They're also very close to the United Building 933. There should be cause for concern. We have spent a great deal of money to need to know where the trees are than lose their bark. Why can't it be cleaned up in a timely fashion once the dropping has ceased? In addition, there are numerous other problems at this end that can become costly issues. Mr. Kurt, please come and visit. This concludes the member's email comment.
Thank you, Connie. And do you have any more comments, Grant?
There are no further comments.
Thank you. Let's go around the table here. I'll take the comment on the insurance. I was licensed in Kansas and Missouri years ago to sell insurance. And then my last employer was the Carrick's Enterprises. And insurance, we could not buy commercial insurance from anybody. So we opened our own insurance company. And it's not different from self-insurance. And what we're doing here, to be honest with you, is we're just going from broker to broker and just going with what they tell us. I think to do fiduciary responsibility, to fulfill that, I think we should look at an option, at least look at and talk about doing our own insurance company. A lot of people poo-poo that idea, but I came from a company where we had to do it or go out of business. So it's something, I'm not saying we have to do it, but I'm saying we have to rule it out in order to fulfill what you all call the fiduciary responsibility. And I will work this year on that idea to either do away with it or follow through with it. Thank you very much. Anybody else want to comment?
Yes, I would like to comment.
Go ahead, Pat.
I would just like to say that with all this Zoom, it's very difficult to understand what they are saying. A lot of words are missed, and a lot of words just don't come out the way they're supposed to, I believe. And so I think that this is a very bad thing to have this Zoom, and I'd be very happy to see it go away. Thank you.
Thank you, Director English. Director Casey.
Yeah, I would just like to comment on the insurance also. You know, the last board worked very hard to get insurance that was suitable for us. To insure our United for $1.5 billion is kind of out of our pocketbook. But, you know, we're 18,000 people. We can write to our congresswoman. We can write letters to the federal government. We can get a lobby to work for us. You know, we had the ability to get loans before, even though they had those requirements before. But now, because of all these fires and destruction of places like Paradise or the building in Florida, you know, they're clamped down. So, and they consider us a close community that could burn. Even though I don't think that's a possibility, you know, but that's what they look at. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Director Blackwell.
Thank you. As to the insurance, it's unlikely that the entire United is going to be wiped out in one fell swoop. If it does, FEMA will take over and we'll all move somewhere else because there won't be anything left. This is for a loan. The other problem with the loan is that we ask, as a cooperative, we ask that the loan holder stands in second place for recovery of non-payment. The companies do not want to stand in second place, and that is the reason we cannot get the loans. People will have to get personal loans or whatever. Most of our purchases are cash right now anyway, and always have been cash. A large percentage, over 80%, are always cash, maybe as high as 90 or 95 right now. I just approved 30 of them, and they were all cash. So it is because FEMA will, wait a minute, somebody will. Fannie Mae, that's it. Fannie Mae won't accept unless we're completely insured. And so that's the problem. It isn't that we're uninsured. We have insurance to cover our needs. We are just never going to be 100% insured. And also we are never going to give up our ability to stand in line first in recovery. So for these two reasons, getting loans for United has always been hard, and now it's almost impossible. So people will have to get a personal loan or some other kind of arrangement with their families. But we cannot deal with this in this way. The second thing is the pines near the creek. Pines are shedding their needles all the time. It's the season of the year. They do it every year, and people are always surprised and horrified. The staff will be coming around, of course not today, but they will be coming around. There was another comment about service. If you have a comment about service and you require service, give a message to customer service. They will get it to the landscape department, and the landscape department will schedule you. We have 2 4-man crews now that come around and do short jobs of remediation for people. That's a new plan that we've installed this year. And so if the person has a comment or a need over there near their house, they need to contact resident services, who will contact landscape and handle the deal, probably within a week. I can't promise everything. I can't promise any tree will be trimmed within a week, however, and I cannot promise the needles will be picked up all over the village within 1 day of them falling. So it's just the needles are going to be seasonal. If you can just bear it for a season, that's it. That's like everything is only seasonal. But the other thing is the patio furniture makes some people happy, and it's not going to make other people happy. And we knew that when we passed it. So we'll see how that works out. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Blackwell. And Director Torn, you had your hand up earlier. Do you want to address?
I would like to thank you very much for the opportunity. I have a comment on this furniture issue. Seems like the cul-de-sac don't like that idea. Even during our discussion, the cul-de-sacs didn't choose that the BMS purchased the furniture for them. Okay, for some reason we approved the watered-down version. So maybe we can come back and revote on that and discuss a little bit more. Bring it back to the table and let's talk about it. What's to really help the residents? Okay, instead of just some decisions that we are not. We cannot satisfy everybody. Yes, indeed. However, we need to satisfy most of the people. If the cul-de-sac people are not interested in that, the decision we make, and the other residents are not happy with the residents' decisions we made, we need to bring it back for the revote. I heard a lot of on the social media, people are questioning that decision. So it's necessary that we bring it back. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Torn.
Anthony?
I don't see any other hands.
Diane.
Well,
Yeah.
Director Lee.
Diane first.
Oh,
it's me.
Diane.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to let Andre know that the request for the furniture was satisfied, for that cul-de-sac. I know it doesn't make other people happy, but there are other areas that have furniture that's placed near their area, and it's been okay. This is not a big expense, and there aren't many. I think this might be the only area that has this kind of configuration that's almost like a plaza in between a lot of buildings. So, I don't think they're unhappy with that, Andre. I think that we did come to a mutual agreement of what it is, and maybe Jeff knows a little more about it. I don't know. But thank you.
Thank you, Director Casey. It sounds like it's something that needs some more discussion. All right, if Director Lee.
Yeah. One comment. One of the ladies, I think, said that after dark, when she was taking a walk with the dog, there are areas that needs more lighting. And I also have experienced some of the areas that were dark, and it could be, safe hazard. So if anyone experienced any area that really needs a lighting, they should bring that to our resident services. Is that what we do?
Right. There was a lighting committee, and there still is. It's M&C. So you send your request or appear at M&C. There is a walkway lighting group that looks into whether they can put another light here and how bright and whatever. So that's contact M&C committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Blackwell. I had a little comment on that. When my first turn on United in 2012 to 2015, I ran the ad hoc committee on walkway lighting, and that's when we changed everything over to LED lights. And if my memory serves me correctly, we had on the books at that time in our budget that we had enough money that we could do 3 light replacements a month. Now, I've been out of the United for a long time. I don't know if that's still in our budget or not, but that's what I remember. We never used it because we were budgeted to do the LED lighting. But I remember at the time there were people complaining to me about dark spots in their sidewalk. And I was told that we did have the money to do 3 of those a month, and we never used it. That's all I have to say. And Director Asghari, your hand is up.
Yes, thank you. My hand is a long time is up, and I want a few comments. First, Erica or Grant, I am asking, please see people that is online and on the Zoom, adding the hand is up. Make a preference who is first. While my hand was up, 3 directors recognized by President inside the room before he asked me. That's number 1. Number 2, regarding to the comments that Maggie said that these days I am signing 35 and is all cash. Maggie, it's whether you know that right now we have only cash. And the reason that you are signing only cash because Fannie Mae is not accepting anymore and everything is all cash. So of course that's not valid here, but this is an issue that we have to think about how we can get loans. There are other possibilities that I will pass to the Don and talk to him because I took some classes in CAI and they suggested some, and hopefully that can come handy. Number 3 is about those furniture that they said is loose. I think we already voted for the loose one in that board meeting. The second option that was getting that was cheaper and they were loose. So I don't know why this is VMS bought the other one that they attached to the ground. Actually, the loose one had the back, had like a chair. That's why we voted for that. We vote for the loose one that they had a back for the resting. And so that's the matter for the furniture. I wanted just to make that one clear. Also, because I wasn't added to the panelists until I sent the messages to different people to add me, I want to add on approval of number D, 5D. There is some sentences in that minute that is not complete on page 1324. I want
Director Asghari, that's passed. That's done. We're not going back there. Sorry.
Well, it's not
5D has been accepted by the quorum here. We're not going back to there. You can't reconsider.
I don't want you back. I don't want back, President. Could you let me finish my sentence? Yeah. I said there is a sentence that is not finished and they can type it and put it there. That's all I said. You can read page 13. You can see what I'm saying.
You're going back to something that we're already done with. And now, also, I'm going to remind the rest of the directors, do not talk to each other. All your comments are directed to the chair. And if I hear you talking to each other, I'm going to call you out of order.
Correct. That is in the Robert's rules, and I hope everybody consider that one. Thank you.
All right. Director Asghari, good to see you. Do you have anything to add to this discussion?
She just did.
I did.
You mean Cash?
Oh, I'm sorry,
Aquacar.
Cash, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Asghari, I'm just trying, Cash Aquacar. Cash, do you have something to add to the discussion?
Not at this time. Thank you anyway. I'm
Good to see
listening.
you. It's good to see you. How are you? You
Thank you.
doing okay?
I'm doing a lot better, yes.
Good.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Get that.
If we're done with this, then let's go on to item number 9, VMS appointments. And we'll let the candidates introduce themselves. Let's start with, we have any, let's see, number 9. Let me get number 9 here.
We have Lenny Ross is
All right,
first.
well, on number 9, in my packet here, December 14th, the first one up is Lenny Ross. Lenny, would you address the United community, please, and the board?
Mr. Chair, would you like me to clarify any timing procedures for the appointment and
Sure.
opening and closing
Go
statements?
ahead.
So for the opening statements, we will have 3 minutes for an opening statement, and then during closing statements, there would be 3 minutes. My question, Mr. Chair, is that if you would like to time questions asked by the United Board to the candidates, and if so, how long would you like for that time to be?
All right, board, what do we want to do with this? What, we're going to question, we get each one you're going to question. That's what we'll do. We'll go around the
Well,
board
each-
here, and then I'll go to the monitor.
Each director gets one question. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, I think that's all we can, each one of us will get one question, and then I'll take the people here, directors here, and then I'll go to the monitor. We'll go around. So let's start on the left.
So
Well,
before
we'll
we...
get Diane, Lenny, go ahead, give your thing,
Okay.
and then we'll go for questions. Your
The
mic,
mic
is your
is
mic
not
on?
working.
One moment.
Testing? That better?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Anthony. My name is Lenny Ross.
It's
I'm a
still
former
quiet.
United member myself. I was formerly president of United and treasurer of United. And it's good to see many of you familiar faces again who served with me and ran with me for United. So today I'm here to submit my candidacy for VMS board on behalf of United. And by the way, I live at 687 Avenida Sevilla, Unit C. And for 25 years as a manager, I've been successfully managing employees with key input into supplying best practices for recruiting, training, motivating, and providing annual reviews. In fact, I was so well respected as a manager, I was able to successfully recruit from a prior employer some very talented managers to join my current company. And even though I have retired, they are still working for this company for more than 10 years. I hope if I'm elected to the VMS board, I can utilize some of my management experience and my MBA to support United by helping VMS recruit the best staff, support professional training, and make sure that our quality staff is well compensated and motivated to work long-term for VMS. During my years of experience as president and treasurer of United, I received a lot of very valuable input on good and bad practices by employees of VMS, which I tried to explain to our United representative on VMS board so that they could reward those employees doing a good job and supply additional training to those in need. By assisting VMS with these things, I am hopeful we should be able to increase morale, boost longer-term employment, and lower turnover rate. I thank you very much for the time and look forward to any questions you might have.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Lenny.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Not now.
You want to do the questions now or hear the other one?
No,
Not yet.
not yet.
Okay. Thank you, Lenny.
Okay, thank you.
And now we'll go to, I don't want to mispronounce your name, that's all we have is our name. Manny Robledo? Did I do it right?
Yes, Robledo.
Thank you. And you can address the panel now for 3 minutes. Sure.
Good morning, Mr. President, members of the board. My name is Manny Robledo. I live at 280 Avenida Carmel in United. And it's a pleasure to be here to introduce myself as a candidate for the VMS position, the United VMS position. This came up, I learned about this, and I'm retiring at the end of this month after 35 years in electric utility business. And I had nothing lined up. I was looking for something meaningful to do. And I want to begin with why I want to do this. So I'm an active participant here. I play tennis. I love tennis. And I play golf and pickleball. I like the parties, the clubs. And I've grown to love Laguna Woods, and I want to keep it all that it is, and do my part to help that. As a United board member, as a VMS board member, I feel I could be a strong advocate for United policies. So VMS is the manager. VMS implements the policies that you pass here. So I think it's very important to have competent staff and to recruit smart people who can think outside the box and get things done with a bigger bang for the buck. Just for a few minutes, I'll go into what I ask people when I hire them. I always want to know what they've done and what they know how to do. So I'm an executive right now. I'm the Director of Utilities for Azusa Light and Water. We serve water and electricity to 22,000 customers in the city of Azusa. And I've been doing that for 3.5 years. That's a culmination of my career. But through my career, I've had increasingly responsible activity. I'm a mechanical engineer, so I started on design work and then moved into managing power contracts, dealing with attorneys, dealing with bond financing, financing large wind projects in Utah. First time it's ever been done with fixed income securities. And I think that broad breadth and depth of experience can help me do a good job for United if I was successfully elected to the VMS board. Another thing about what I think is important on the board is relationships. Because I'll just be one voice, hopefully I move into leadership, but to get the policies through, you have to build coalitions. And I'm very personable. I'm approachable. I have good communication with staff. I've been able to work with union. Throughout my executive experience, I've worked with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. That is very challenging.
Time has expired. Thank you.
We've been able to do a lot of good things. Thank you.
Thank you, Manny.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robledo. Okay,
Questions?
Diane? Well, how do you want to do this? You want to each get the same question?
Is there a question?
Well, now we're going to question them, right?
Oh, okay. Are you saying there's a specific question, or could I ask my question?
Well, do you want to question any?
I kind of have a question for both, because I see that both have this issue. And I'm not sure that maybe I need Jeff's expertise on, but both, it appears that Manny and Lenny are realtors. And I know on the United board, if you are a realtor, you're excluded from certain committees, which kind of hurts us, approving resales and things like that. So I'm just wondering, on the GRF board,
VMS.
the VMS board, let's see, it's the VMS board. How does that affect the VMS board? And are you really active in real estate right now? But you
All
both
right.
seem like great candidates.
Shall we give each candidate 2 minutes? How do you want?
I don't know if they know what's on VMS. So VMS,
I'm asking Jeff.
oh,
Is
you're
that-
asking Jeff, not the candidates.
Well, I just want to know,
They do have realtors on VMS.
okay.
Yes.
And they seem to be okay with.
So do you have a question for any of the
My
candidates?
question mainly was, can they fill all the requirements that the board needs?
Okay.
You know, even though they might be active in.
We'll
real
give,
estate.
we'll start in rotation. Lenny, do you want to, you got 2 minutes to respond to that question? And then we'll go to Manny. And then we'll change around.
Yeah, I've been a realtor with Laguna Premier Real Estate for about 5 years, and I do it part-time to keep my mind active, and I enjoy it. And and there are other realtors on the boards, my understanding. And of course, if there's any need for me to recuse myself for any reason, I would do that for any reason at all. But I think that it would help to have. It wouldn't be hurtful to have another realtor on the VMS board. I think it would help the community because there's a lot of important decisions that are made by realtors, and that affect the nature of our community. And I don't think that it would be harmful at all. So that's my answer.
Okay, thank you, Lenny. Manny Robledo, would you respond to that, please?
Thank you. I hold my broker license in my personal name, and I only do it for family and friends. So, for example, this year I helped a friend of mine secure a one-bedroom condo in Redondo Beach. I have not been active in the village. I don't want to preclude it, but it is not something I'm interested in doing. I've actually organized my retirement where I don't need extra income. That's why I'm interested in this board. I have the time to do it, and I think I can do a good job. But as Mr. Ross says, I do agree that the experience is valuable because you're dealing with realtors, you're dealing with the insurance issues that Director Blackwell and Director Liberatore talked about. So I think it is useful to make this a livable and workable place.
Okay, why don't you stay up there? We'll go with you first this time. Director Blackwell, do you have anything?
I don't have a question.
Okay. Director English.
Well,
I'm going to ask this question a different way. Do you consider your involvement in real estate to be a conflict of interest in any way?
Not in the village. As I said, I have not done a transaction in the village. I don't plan to do. And if it was a conflict, I would not do the real estate. I would do the VMS board first. The VMS would have priority. I wouldn't have to recuse myself. I would just not do the. I don't have plans to do real estate work.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Lenny Ross, Director Ross, would you care to comment on that from Director English, please?
It's a realtor. That's a realtor.
Yeah, I know.
No, I don't, very briefly, I don't think there's a conflict of interest at all. And I think I can serve, and if necessary, as I said, if it's necessary to recuse myself on any particular issue that relates to real estate, I would do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Lenny. Director Lee, do you have any questions?
Yes.
Stay up there.
I know that Lenny had mentioned that you have served on the United Mutual Board, right?
Yes.
So my question is to Ross. I don't have a question for you, Lenny. I have a question for Mr. Ross. Yes. Well, because he had mentioned that he had served on the United Board before. Do you have any experience serving any volunteer position in the village?
Not in the village. I've only lived here a short time, but I do have board experience. I was governor on the California Power Exchange in 2000. And I currently serve on the Southern California Public Power Authority Board of Directors, and we oversee the financing for large power projects. So, and I'm staff to the City Council at City of Azusa, and I'm very familiar with board process, the Robert's Rules of Order. I'm very comfortable from both a staff perspective, high-level executive staff perspective, and a board member perspective.
Oh, thank you. But the reason I'm asking is I'm finding out because I'm new here, and although it's a volunteer, it's a very demanding volunteer position, and a lot of work, and a lot of reading, and a lot of dedication. And I just want to make sure that you understand.
I do understand, and
yes.
I see it as very similar to a city process where you have staff reports and you have process. And
Okay, thank you.
I've been a bureaucrat for 35 years.
Yes.
Thank you, Director Lee and Manny. Now I'm going to go to our directors at home. We'll stay with this format where we'll ask the question and get each person a chance to respond to it. I'm going to start on my monitor going left to right, starting with the top line, and the first one I have is Director Aquacard. Do you have any questions to ask?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a question for Manuel Roberto. What was his right name?
Yes, Manny.
Manny. You are not a realtor, right? As I understand, or are you a realtor, practicing realtor?
I have a full-time job. I'm Director of Utilities for City of Azusa. That is a very extensive position. I'm going to be retiring December 30th. However, I hold a California real estate broker license, which allows me to represent family and friends. So I've only done one transaction this year, and it was for a friend of mine, and I just represented him getting his condo. So I am not an active realtor as making a living. I use it. I've had it since 1986, so I've had it a while. I don't have a corporation. It's in my personal name. I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Cash, do you want Lenny Ross to answer that same question or no?
I think we beat it to that.
Please make sure your microphone's on.
I'm sorry, Cash, do you want Lenny Ross to respond to that question also?
Not necessarily. I know Lenny
Okay.
pretty well.
Thank you, Director Aquacard. Director Ascari, do you have any questions for our candidates?
Yes, Manny mentioned that he's approachable, and I want to ask this from Ross as well. How he is approachable, because he is representing United. What is his strategy for getting from us some perspective what United wants to pass to VMS? That is a question for Mr. Ross.
That's a very good question. I think that I would be regularly meeting with the United Board to fully understand what their expectations, what their requirements were as a member of VMS, to better relate those requirements while I'm on VMS board. So at the time when I was on United Board, I remember each month we had a representative of VMS that worked with us, meet with us at the time, and they explained some of the new things that were going on the VMS board, and we had a chance to talk back and forth with them. And so I'm hoping that's still the process today with your board, because I think that's the best way of fully understanding what our clients want and what our clients need, and by talking with each other and keeping an open communication. Thank you.
Mr. Ross, did you say, Mr. Ross,
Yes.
did you say that you are VMS representative meeting with the board when you were a president?
I'm sorry, could you say
Am
that?
I understanding correct?
I don't
Am I
know.
understanding correct? You said when you were president at the United VMS staff, there was a meeting that a United board and VMS staff have a meeting together. Did you say that one?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so as I understand, in the last year that I have been, we don't have this one now. Just let you know.
Yeah, it used to be part of the regular monthly meeting that we had a VMS board representative make their introductions to our meeting, and they would
Oh,
explain.
that's another difference. That's another difference. Introduction to the meeting is different from having a meeting. You mentioned having a meeting. Okay, that's clear what you're saying now.
Yes.
All right, Asghari,
Thank
do
you.
you want Mr. Robledo to answer that question also, or are you happy with Mr. Ross?
No, that's enough. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Director Bastani. You're muted.
Yes, I'm trying to. I have one question from both of them.
Okay. Lenny Ross is up there now, so why don't we let him answer your question first, and then we'll go on to Mr. Robledo. What's your question?
In past, whoever we put on VMS board, they become a cheerleader for VMS. They never say anything which is not correct in the reports. For example, I haven't heard anybody talking about alteration being closed for 2 years. None of them have ever brought this up. My question from Lenny was, are you going to turn into a cheerleader as well?
I couldn't understand his question.
Could you repeat your question, please, Director Bastani?
Maybe if he could take off his mask.
Yes. By cheerleader, I mean that whatever VMS does, you approve it. That's what I mean. And so far, our past reps in the VMS board have been such people. Do you think you can handle this in a neutral way? You understand me now?
No, I still don't understand you.
Then forgive.
Manny?
So it's Director Bastani, is that right?
Yes.
So as I understand your question, you're asking about my abilities to effectively and assertively represent the interests of United on the board and not let the staff dictate policy. Is that correct?
Exactly. That's what I meant.
Okay. I think that, number one, the residents of Laguna Woods are our bosses. Even though the VMS is the manager, I think the mutuals are responsible to the people, and then the manager of VMS is responsible to the mutuals. So I would do my best to effectuate whatever policies are passed here, whatever the people and the mutuals want to do, I will try and work with VMS to get that done as effectively as possible and have ideas come from the board, not just, I think as he alluded to, a rubber stamp of staff's recommendation, because I think there's room for outside the box thinking or looking at what people are doing outside of the berm. You know, I've worked a lot with Disneyland. They have the berm, and inside Disneyland is one thing, outside the berm is another thing. So outside of our Laguna Woods bubble, how are things run? Director Libator talked about self-insurance. Okay, you think a better mousetrap, find a better mousetrap. One of the things that when people invest in companies and stock, you look at who's running it. Is the person running it smart? You know, because you don't want to be a laggard, you want to be a leader. So I would work and do my best to effectuate those policies. And real quickly, in order to answer the other question, the relationship building that I would do with VMS board, I would do with this board as well.
Thank you, Mr. Robledo.
Thank you.
Okay, Reza, you're finished. I'm going to go to Director Ardani. Do you have questions for the candidates?
No, no question. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Ardani. Director Torn, do you have questions for the candidates?
Yes, I know that I read your candidate statement. Ross, you have an MBA, and mainly you're a director of utilities, so you are very familiar with business side. I would assume you both are very familiar with this side. VMS hasn't been able to provide any cost-benefit analysis, return on investment analysis. So making business decision is very difficult for us to choose whether it's benefit or it's just a cost. There's no benefit. So in your experience, how do you propose that the help board make decisions to work with BMS to help the board make a decision, choose the best decisions that benefit from cost-benefit point of view, benefit residents the most? Can you elaborate on those things, cost-benefit analysis and the return on investment, project management, quality management, anything that your experience, based on your experience? Thank you.
Absolutely. That is one of the things I'm very interested in, not only as a potential board member, but as a resident. Bang for the buck. You want to make sure what you're doing is useful. Technology is an example of that. You have, through my experience, you have a lot of vendors coming in trying to sell you the latest and greatest thing. But when they leave, they take their money and they leave us with the thing that oftentimes it takes more staff to run the thing that they sold you. So I would say that absolutely cost-benefit analysis, return on investment. When I worked for Southern California Edison, when you got a budget for capital, they want to see how are you going to reduce operations. So it's not like you just get the capital and then your operations stay the same. There's supposed to be some return on investment for their investors. So yes, I've done that throughout my career. I would do it here. And I'll do a third time. The relationships that I build with the VMS board members and this board, I would also build the relationship with staff so that we can talk about these things before they just come to the board, have communication with staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robledo. Now I got to give candidate Ross a chance to respond to the same question.
Yeah, absolutely. We have scarce resources within our community, and we already have very high homeowners association fees, which are very difficult to increase. So we have to make sure we get the bang for the buck, get the most out of the money we spend. And so we'd be looking at cost-benefit analysis as an important tool to utilize whenever we're evaluating particular suppliers or we're evaluating employees. But I think most important in evaluating the employees is how do we get the best employees we can get? And also, how do we maintain and retain the best employees? There's a lot of different ways of maximizing our revenues, but the best way to maximize our our available resources is to make sure that we maintain our best employees and we train those employees that need more training so that we maximize the best employees to last the longest. And I think that's what I'd be working towards if if I am fortunate enough to be elected to VMS. Thank you.
Thank you, Lenny. Now we're good to give the candidates an opportunity for a closing statement. Let's start with Mr. Manny Robledo. And what do we do, Grant? 2 minutes for closing? Or 3? 3 minutes. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I prepared an opening statement, but I'll do my best with a closing statement. This has been a very exciting time for me. I'm new to Laguna Woods, but I already love it, and this is a place that I want to spend my retirement. It's been a long time coming. I love the friendships that I've made here, and I want to keep it. I want to do my part to keep it all that it is, and even make it better. You know, who's to say it has to stay the same? I do recognize the challenges, so I'm not Pollyannish. I think there are some real challenges, and I am equipped to deal with those, confront them, not avoid them. One of the things that I want to talk about is risk, and I think from a board perspective, you're setting policy and you're expecting your staff to implement the policy. There are 2 ways to deal with risk. One is you can avoid it or you can manage it. And I've done a lot of my career managing risk where you can have knowledge, processes, insurance as necessary, but you can still go for a walk. You're not afraid of tripping and falling because you've managed the risk as best you can, but you have to live life. And that's where I see there's a balance that comes in with that, and I would apply that balance to the best of my ability. I would just say that given my qualifications, given my love for Laguna Woods, and given my desire to do a good job, I think I'm the best candidate for the job, and I respectfully ask for your vote.
Thank you very much. Lenny Ross, you've got 3 minutes for a closing statement to the board.
I want to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to run and be elected to VMS board. And I promise if I am elected and nominated onto the board that I would work very closely with all members of United Board to make sure that I'm accurately and fairly representing you as board members on VMS. And I think that it's very important to keep the communications flow going between us as we continue to work together to make sure that, number one, our employees are the most valued employees in our community. And there's different ways of rewarding employees. Some say that compensation is the only way to reward an employee. But I say that there's different ways of rewarding employees by promoting employees, by incentivizing their work, and making sure that they're recognized. And most importantly, I think it's important to be fair and treat people with respect. I think that's the most important thing that I'll take to VMS is to respect our employees. And because without that, we have nothing. And so I hope that I do get your vote to get on the VMS board and to make sure that our employees are well taken care of and well appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Lenny. Okay, we're going to take a vote now. on these two candidates. So what I'd like to do is turn it over to Grant, and he will instruct our people on Zoom how to cast their vote.
Greetings. So for the vote on Zoom, you'll want to go to the chat box, and under where it says the two and then a colon, it shows a drop down menu next to it. You want to scroll down and select Conference Organizer. And then you may submit your vote to me on your candidate of choice. For the people in person, we will distribute paper ballots. Director O'Donnell, you have sent it to hosts and panelists. You want to send it to conference organizer direct message.
Must be a warning. on the phone, from the rain.
Oh, yeah, yeah, my sound's off. Flooding, evacuation, that's what that means is the phones are getting messages.
Yeah, Trabuco Canyon and places like that.
Chair. Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair,
Yes, Director Torn.
can somebody make announcement of the weather service announcement? Because we are right now on internet on the
Well,
everybody.
we can, Director Torn, but I think most of us here have got this alert on our cell phones, but we'll say it, there's a flash flood warning is on and in effect for this area. But I'm sure the rest of you got it on your phones too, right?
I can announce it.
No, I'm not talking about warning to the core members. I'm talking about warning to our members. 333 units. Yeah, maybe if they haven't received it, maybe we can make announcement here as well.
Okay,
while we're waiting.
we'll take care of that as soon as we get the vote done. The CEO will take care of that for us. Thank you.
I'm now ready to announce the results.
All right, we're going to staff. Grant has got the results for us. Go ahead, Grant, you have the floor.
All right. There are 10 votes for Manny Robledo.
All right, somebody's phone is squeaking. All right, so Manny Robledo has got the vote. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Welcome aboard, Mr.
Congratulations.
Robledo. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Robledo. Robledo's fine. Robledo or Robledo.
Okay. Well, I want to get it right because I'll be calling you wrong the rest of your life.
Well, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation and thank you. And you have my word that I'm available to you. Call me, email me, anything on your mind, I want to hear about it. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And Lenny Ross, I worked for you on VMS, and I really thank you for being here. And I hope you will continue to help us out on our committee assignments. Thank you, Lenny. All right, let's. Okay, let's move on to.
Tony,
Yeah.
excuse me, Mr. President.
Yes, go ahead, Azari, Director Azari.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, on number 8, respond to the open forum, we didn't respond to the last month. 13 people brought information and requests. Normally, the next month, we respond to them. Are we ignoring them now?
No, I just haven't had a volunteer to do that. Before it was NADA. I don't have anybody to do that yet.
What ordinarily?
Well,
Okay, never mind.
13 people asked, they deserve some response.
And-
just because no one,
The directors do not usually respond. We pass it on to staff. And so staff usually responds to that and handles those matters. They're here, they take the information down. And so that's what's customarily done.
Maggie, are you changing the rules now? Mr. President, are we changing the rule now? Because for the whole year, some of the question is general, is not one person. So they brought, if you read, can I finish my sentence, Director Maggie, can I finish my sentence?
All right, hold on just a minute. Siobhan, do you want to respond to this?
Yes. Director Asghari is correct. Every month, we provide an update on public comments that were made at the prior meeting. In the interest of time today, because we have 2 elections during this meeting, we elected not to have that on the agenda. Please rest assured that those residents have been contacted by staff immediately after the prior meeting, and we will resume this practice next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Director Torn.
Oh, I just want to make sure that everybody that when you speak up, you need to be recognized by the chair. And I noticed that Maggie has been frequently out of order on this issue, so maybe we can.
Yeah, well, I'll keep an eye on that. Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to
Thank you
item
very
number
much.
10, CEO report.
Anthony, that is not true what Andre just said. Orders of the day, I can interrupt and everything else.
Yeah,
Just
you
stop
can.
it.
Orders of the day.
Yes, orders of the day, exactly.
Okay. We'll move on to item number 10, CEO report.
Good morning, President and members of the board, and to residents out there. I'm going to start off on item that was just mentioned. We just received from the National Weather Service a emergency alert with regards to potential flash flood warning or a flash flood warning in effect for this area, Orange County, until 1:45 p.m. This afternoon. There is a dangerous and life-threatening situation in their report, and they basically, the response is do not attempt to travel unless you are fleeing an area subject to flooding. So if you're in your home watching this program, do not go out until after 1:45 due to the fact that there is the chance of severe flash flooding occurring in Orange County at this point in time. And this is for an area larger than Orange County. It's Ventura County, LA County as well. So that's the first item. Second item, for those that, and I'll talk about COVID numbers, which have gone up, but as a result of COVID numbers going up, the state of California has placed the California Department of Public Health has been monitoring, obviously, our numbers. And as a result of that, they are requiring, as of tomorrow, and for the month from December 15th until January 15th, the requirement that all individuals, vaccinated or not vaccinated, I want to make that real clear, all individuals, vaccinated or not vaccinated, must wear a mask indoors. So coming to a community center, going to any of our clubhouses, going to any of our events that are indoors, residents will be required to be wearing a mask. That is for the month of December 15th to January 15th. The reason for this is that since Thanksgiving, they've seen a 47% increase in the number of cases in the state of California. These are COVID cases. And hospitalizations have gone up 14% in the state of California. Now, with regards to Laguna Woods, the city of Laguna Woods, which we are a big part of, we have seen our numbers in the last month period prior to Thanksgiving and up to today increase from 555 cases to 584 cases. It's a 5% increase in that 1 month period. Unfortunately, there's been 3 additional fatalities during that same period. With regards to ICU cases, we were at 56 ICU cases a month ago, and we're now up to 66 ICU cases. The number of hospitalizations in Orange County have hovered right at 200. They have fluctuated from 195 to 205 during this month period. So we haven't seen quite the spiking that the state has seen in overall hospitalizations, but we have seen that increase in ICUs. So again, to our residents out there and to the boards, from now, as of yet tomorrow and through the 15th of January, it will be required that individuals coming into our facilities will be required to wear masks. Just to inform our residents, our employees have always been wearing masks. We have taken that responsibility for safety and protection of our employees, and we have always kept that masking program in place. So this is just another step by the state. And as you know, as the managing agent here and representing all of the boards and GRF, we have followed Orange County and state guidelines. So this is a state guideline that directive that we will be following effective tomorrow. There'll be signs on all our facilities. We send out a blast also from our communications people to everybody. So hopefully everybody will have that information in place and can move on from there. And then again, all of the numbers I indicated do show that we've seen an uptick even in Laguna Woods with regards to the COVID numbers, unfortunately. And that's all I have to report. I'll turn it over to Siobhan.
Thank you, Jeff. Honorable President, members of the board, I have 3 quick announcements this morning, please. First is the Village Decorating Contest, sponsored by the Recreation and Special Events Department. You can take place by sharing a photo of your manor's lawn, porch, balcony, flower bed, front door, and so forth in holiday splendor. The department will share the photos on Facebook. Your neighbors will vote on the best decorated manor. You could be the winner of tickets to the Village New Year's event at the Performing Arts Center. Email your submission to recreationvms@gmail.com no later than noon on Wednesday, December 22nd, to participate in the contest. The landscaping department will pick up Christmas trees following the holiday on December 30th, January 4th, and January 7th. Discarded trees will be ground into mulch to be used throughout our community. All tinsel and ornaments must be removed from the trees. Please call Resident Services 48 hours prior to setting your tree out at the curb. Resident Services can be reached at 949-597-4600. And lastly, new resident orientations are available virtually for our new residents. This helps them settle into village life. They can learn at this informational session about their mutual, talk with a board member who represents their mutual, and quickly, the next available sessions are as follows. For 3rd Laguna Hills Mutual, Friday, January 22nd at 9 a.m., and Wednesday, February 16th at 4:30 p.m. For United Mutual, the next sessions are Wednesday, January 12th at 4:30 p.m., and Friday, February 4th at 9 a.m. Please make a reservation by emailing info@lagunawoodsvillage.com. And that concludes my updates this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Siobhan. Director Torn.
Yes, I really like the village decoration contest. And two years ago, I proposed that, and I was told we used to have that contest in the village, but it tripped the electricity, and a lot of people sections got blacked out because of overusage of electricity. Have we resolved that issue? Are we sure that there's no more such things that may happen? That was my question.
Director Torn, the contest was held last year without incident. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Torn. Let's move on now to item number 11 on our agenda. It's the consent calendar, and just let me remind you what the consent calendar is all about. All matters listed under the consent calendar are recommended for action by the committees that sent them up to us and will be enacted by the board by one motion. In the event that an item is moved from the consent calendar by members of the board, such items shall be subject to further discussion and action by the board. So we have 2 items under here. One is A and B. So I can read them, or you can read them yourself if everybody has accept a review of the United Subleasing Transfer of Trust Documents approval. And then under B, there's item 1 and 2, approved tree removal request and approved tree removal request for 2144B, and the first one was 432B. So do I hear a motion to accept the consent calendar?
I move that we accept the consent calendar.
May I ask a point of order?
Just wait a minute. I just made a motion here now. You'll get your chance to talk about it, all right? So we have a motion that's been forwarded by Director English. Do I have a second?
Second.
Director Blackwell has seconded, so the motion's open for now for debate. Okay, we've heard, let me talk to Director Ascari first. What do you have to say, Director?
Any objections?
Sure. Mr. President, number A, when I see the contract, it's supposed to have two signatures and only your signature is there.
Yes, so what's your problem with that?
The problem is must be two signatures.
I don't think you're correct there. Director
Okay,
Torn.
so please correct me. Please correct me. I need answer, Mr. President. Please correct me why it's not. There is two signatures. Please go to the page.
Well, staff told me we only needed my signature.
Okay, then staff should explain. You cannot just ask. If director asks a question, we need answer from the staff.
I just gave you an answer, but you don't want to accept it. What do you want to do now?
I want one VMS staff explain when they said two signature, why one signature is enough.
One signature is enough. We'll go on now. Director Torn.
Why?
Because I said so.
That's not right, Mr. President.
According to
Don't
the
raise
law,
your
it
voice.
requires
Director Torn.
signatures. Yeah, according to the law, it requires two signatures.
You don't know the law.
David Sterling law.
If I may interject, Mr. President, this is Jeff Beaumont.
Director Jeff Bowman, our attorney Bowman, you got the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you. There is no law under the Davis-Sterling Act whatsoever that requires two signatures on contracts. The only thing close to that is under the Davis-Sterling Act that requires two signatures on transfers from reserve accounts. As far as signatures on contracts, as long as the majority of the board approves the contract, under the Corporations Code, the president has the authority to sign that contract on behalf of the board once it's approved by the board.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry, my misunderstanding.
No.
I was asking my question. My question is about the transfer of reserve fund. Okay, payment of reserve fund. They're supposed to be, usually it's in the past, it's always been on the agenda for consent calendar.
Well,
Why
let me
it's
say,
not
well,
on the
let's point of order here. This is the consent calendar. Do you want to pull this thing off the consent calendar? Then say so. This is not to be, we're not debating the issue.
May I finish my sentence?
No. Yeah, I just told you what to do. If you want this off the consent calendar, then say so. We're not debating the issue right now.
I'm telling you, we're missing an item in the consent calendar.
I just told you what we're doing. This is the consent calendar. If you want to debate it, then pull it off the consent calendar.
I'm not pulling out anything. I'm saying we need to add something in there.
Siobhan,
Something's missing.
I believe you're referring to item 12.
Director Siobhan?
I believe you're referring to item 12A, Director Torn.
Right.
This is financial. This is not about the reserve fund. Is that the same thing as the reserve fund signature?
We are on 11A and
We're on the
B.
consent calendar, 11A and B.
11.
I want to make sure. Hold on. Let me finish my sentence, please. I want to make sure that when you say, I look at a 12A, it states that
11.
We're on 11. We're on the consent calendar. Now don't get, we're on the consent calendar. We're either going to accept the consent calendar.
I haven't finished my sentence.
Well, you were not talking about item 12.
You were telling me, somebody's telling me it's 12A. I said it's not.
I didn't say 12A. I'm saying we're talking about 11, the consent count. Now listen, this is, you're out of order. If you want to pull this off the consent calendar, then make a motion to do it.
I'm not pulling out anything. I am not pulling
Point
anything.
of order. We need to cool off a little here.
Orders of the day. We should be calling orders of the day.
Right.
Where is the
No,
approval of calendar for the reserve fund, the payment approval. There is no formal upon reserve fund approval, then we don't pay.
If you don't calm down and address the issue 11, 11 is the consent calendar. We're going to approve it or not approve it. And we have a motion on the floor, I believe, to approve the
Yes.
consent
May I
calendar. We have a
speak now?
second.
Yes,
Let's vote on,
May I
let's
speak
vote
now
on the
what I'm
consent
trying to
calendar
say?
right now.
in
Grant,
silence.
mute Director Torn. Holding up.
May I speak what's wrong with?
What's wrong with you? You can't
Anthony.
vote on the consent calendar. Diane.
Andre, if you look at the other board documents there, it's similar to what we're doing today, the consent calendar. So I don't know why you are insisting that something's missing. Look at all the other documents in the board packet and check to see that it's very similar to what we're doing today. So, you just like to, have controversy. And it's very disturbing to us and to the members. Thank you.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. We have a second, the consent calendar. Let's vote on the
Jeff
consent.
Bowman has just said we need if we
Grant,
don't approve that, we
Grant.
can.
Mute Director Torn. He's holding up the,
Thank you. Let's vote.
all right, he's muted. All right, we have a motion on the floor on the consent calendar, and we have a second. So what do we want to do with it? Let's go around. Let's start here. Who?
I accept it.
You accept it?
Except,
Four.
Four. All right, now, Grant, check with the people that are on Zoom. So we have 4 who accept the consent calendar as written.
Okay, I'll go down as
I accept too.
a roll call vote. That sounds good. Director Ekrakar has also accepted.
Accept.
Director Bastani.
he abstained, I think.
You're muted, Director Bastani.
I abstained.
Absent. Thank you. Director Ardani.
Yes.
Director Asghari.
Yes. And thanks for Jeff Bowman to explain.
Director Toring.
I abstain because this leaves our reserve fund not paid. There is no board approval.
There are 8 for and 2 have abstained.
I'm sorry, read to 8-4?
8 approved and 2 have abstained.
8 and 2. Okay, so the consent calendar is approved as written. Thank you. Let's go on to number 12, unfinished business. A. It's consistent with the statutory obligations under Civil Code 5501, a subcommittee of the board consisting of the treasurer and at least one other board member reviewed the United Laguna Woods Mutual preliminary financials for the month of October 2021. Such review is hereby ratified. B.
I move that one. I move
All right, it's
A.
been moved by Director Blackwell. Do we have a second? Director Casey, second.
May I have a comment on that? I've raised my hand.
All right, yeah, we have a motion and we have a second, so it's now time for discussion. Go ahead.
For Director Torn?
Director Torn, you've got the floor.
Go ahead. Okay. Now, my question here is that 12A, does that include the reserve fund sign-off, payments sign-off? Or just the financial statement, preliminary financial statement? Somebody answered me.
I didn't, say it again, please.
These are the preliminary financials for the month of October.
Let me say that. Let me explain my point, Maggie. Please don't explain for me. Okay? My point is this state clearly, let me read the whole sentence. Consistent with its statutory obligation under Civil Code 5501, a subcommittee of the board consisting of the treasurer and at least one other board member reviewed the United Laguna Woods Mutual preliminary financials for the month of October 2021, which our treasurer will report later. Such review is hereby ratified. Does that include reserve fund payment review sign off?
Jeff Beaumont, you
Treasurer.
Jeff Beaumont, you want to jump in on this?
Yes, Mr. President, I need more clarification on the question. I don't understand what Mr. Torn is requesting.
Okay, I will state it again. In 12A, it states towards the third, do you have the document in front of you? I read it already, but I will read it again. Do you want me to read it again?
Call on Jeff.
You can just tell me where you're referring to. I have it in front of me.
Hold on, let's give our CEO here a shot at it. Go ahead, Jeff.
So I think a clarification.
Okay, I haven't finished my.
Mr. Torn, your question is, are reserve checks signed by 2 board members? The answer is yes. It is not relative to approving the item 12A. Those are separate actions. You have a requirement that 2 board members sign the reserve checks before they're released. That's an action that you do. It's not the requirement. It's not part of the unfinished business section A. A is the subcommittee report consisting of the treasurer and another board member reviewing your preliminary financials. The responsibility of having 2 board members signing off on reserve checks is a separate issue and is not something that is approved by your board each time. You assign 2 board members to do that. Your president has assigned 2 board members to do that. They do that in concert with our financial staff. Hopefully that clarifies it.
Director Casey?
May I make a correction on that? No, you just take it and there's no understanding. My point is that nobody, and not including the committee, not including any board members, can sign up, can make decisions without the board approval. Does that mean that now 2 board members can make decisions without board approval now?
I can answer that question, Mr. President. Civil Code Section 5501, as referenced in item 12A on the board agenda, is reflective of a board resolution that was passed pursuant to this law that went into effect a couple years ago, which we spent a lot of time on and worked hard to clarify and to implement procedures. And through that process, the board adopted a resolution which staff can provide you during the next meeting that allows 2 board members, which has to be the president, has to be the treasurer and any other board member, to review the preliminary financials on a monthly basis. This law 5501 went into effect, which requires all boards to appoint the treasurer and any one director just to review the preliminary financials on a month-to-month basis and to report that to the board that they did that review. All that's required each month is that review to happen. There's no board action required or no further action needed with respect to that. All that's required is the treasurer and one other board member to perform that monthly review. This item 12A just documents the fact that you've done that for the month of December and you're in compliance. You've also done it for the month of October, or I'm sorry, the month of October, and you're in compliance.
May I make a correction? Apparently, Jeff Beaumont doesn't understand my question and answer the wrong, give the wrong answer. I am not talking about preliminary financial statements. Let me repeat. I am not talking about preliminary financial statement. Your answers relate to preliminary financial statement. I am talking about the reserve payment check approval.
Right.
Okay, let's grant, mute Director Torn. This is going too long.
12A has been on the calendar, on the consent calendar, for many years. Mr. Armendariz usually objected to it, but the board always passed it. It is now, for some reason, under 12A because of Mr. Armendariz's always wanting to question it. But you have passed it every single time since you've been a director. So this is usually under the consent calendar. It is not a surprise. It is the same printing. If you look at the old minutes, you will see the same wording on it every single month. So
All right, Maggie, you haven't
this is
been-
not a secret
are not-
plot. I was called on it. This is not a secret plot. This is
I'm not-
5501 Andre. Thank you very much.
Why?
Okay,
I'm talking about something.
Let's vote.
I'm talking about some.
all right, let's vote
talking
on this
about-
12A.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second, enough we ready for the vote?
Yes.
Director Lee, how do you vote? You approve. Director
There is
English?
no vote. You should ask for ratification.
Director
Mr.
Blackwell?
President.
You're out of order.
I
There is no
approve.
vote.
You are out of order, and I will mute you.
I approve.
Diane Casey, Director Casey?
I approve.
All right, now I'll go
I've
on.
reviewed the preliminary financials.
Diane Casey says she reviewed the financials, and so it was the treasurer and Diane Casey who reviewed them this month.
Thank you, Maggie, that talk for treasurer. Treasurer is alive and can talk.
You're out of order. I didn't call on you. Director Bastani,
Oh,
how
my
do you vote on
goodness.
this 12A?
My goodness.
Nobody called Maggie either.
Mr. President, you should call me and ask me to ratify and ask Diane to ratify. This is how
Are you
we
voting
should
for
do.
this measure or not? Stop stalling. Are you for this? We have a vote on the floor now. We're voting.
There is no vote. You should ask for ratify first.
Are you
Oh, my
voting
goodness.
yes or no?
Mr. Bowman, can you explain?
Are you voting yes or no?
Who are you talking to?
I am talking to Mr. President, but he's not listening. Mr. Bowman, can you
There's nothing
explain?
wrong-
Please
There's
ask
nothing
for-
wrong with my ears. I'm asking for a vote. We're voting now. We're not
There
in
is
debate.
no vote. You should ask for is treasurer ratified,
You're
and
out of order.
I'm gonna say yes.
Just say,
Oh my goodness.
If you're asking me, I'm voting no.
do you vote to ratify? Just ask her that.
She just voted yes to ratify.
Okay.
Good.
And I voted yes to ratify also.
Okay.
Okay, go on.
Cash, how do you vote?
I approve.
Okay, you approve. Neda Ardani, Director Ardani, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay. Director Torn, how do you vote?
I abstain because this is not complete information.
All right, thank you, Director Torn. So, I haven't counted, what's the vote? Anybody got a count on this?
8 approve, 1 oppose, and 1 abstain.
All right, so we have 8-1-1, 12A is approved by the board, thank you. 12B, entertain a motion to approve United Committee assignments. I hope everybody's had a chance to look at it.
I move that we approve the committee assignments.
All right, Director Blackwell has made a motion to approve the committee assignments as written.
I'll second them.
And we have a second from Director English. We're open for discussion now.
Let's vote. Let's vote, Anthony.
Please make sure your microphone's on.
Director Ascari, how do you vote?
I have a, it's not a vote, they said discussion. Can I make my discussion?
This is a
That's
time
my
to
time
make,
difference.
yeah, this is up for a vote. We have a motion, we have a second, now it's open for discussion, so you
Thank
can
you.
just, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, I would like to discuss about this, to mention regarding to the Finance Committee. I am a treasurer and I spent amazing time in the last year to go through all of that, and the finance department is my witness that sometimes up to 1 o'clock I send email. As a new person, Director English comes, and on the meeting that you have and put Director English as a chair, I had eye surgery and I was there and you didn't accept my vote. So I am coming here to say, based on the knowledge that the treasurer already must spend time through all the finance to ratify, that's what I said on A, I ratified. And you didn't ask me to say, treasurer, are you ratified? And I said yes, because I spent so much time.
Well,
So
well, let me remind
I
you
am
that
talking.
May I say something, please?
wait a minute. We had an agenda prep
I am
meeting.
talking. Excuse me. I am talking. I didn't
Well-
finish mine. Can I? I have 2 minutes. Why are you interrupting? And number two, you gave to Director English 2 chairs that needs a huge amount if she wants to do fiduciary duty, because MS be a chair is lots of contract that she should really spend time on that and what's the point to putting finance chair as well. So as you can see, I am asking, please do not take this one as a group that you are coming together and supporting each other. Let's work together. We are 4 of you that you come, you grab all the chairs account and here. That's not fair. If you want it to be fair, as Tony said, everybody has different talent and he wants all talents comes to the board and all be helping. I am treasurer and I am spending time. GRF treasurer and finance chair is the same. Third is the same. What is this establishment that the treasurer and chair must be different, and especially be a person that already is a chair of MNC with lots of documents that she should spend time. This is not honoring board. This is a working board. If you are a board member and you want to do your job, you knew that you have to spend lots of time. So I am asking to make an amendment on that one and change the chair finance to me, which I did a great job to bring the finance to the point that there is no complaint in the newspaper in the last 6-7 months. So that shows that they're close working with the VMS staff, and they are amazing staff in the VMS. So in that case, I am asking to put that one and be fair, just giving all chairs to these 4 people that newly comes to the board. That's not a fair. That's not a fair. please consider that one, Mr. President. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you very much. Now, let me remind everybody here that we had an agenda prep meeting, and I did not assign the committees. We went around the board, and so the board, by consensus, filled in the committee assignments, so you can't say anything about me. It was the board, and we had a quorum. So all we have to do now is if the board doesn't want to accept these, even though the board voted for it and we had a quorum, then they can just not vote for it
No,
down.
I am making amendment to the motion. I make amendment to the motion to the finance chair be Director Askari. I make a motion, amendment
Well,
to
no,
that.
what, we're not doing that. So that means your motion is dilatory and out of order. Because, listen to me.
Why, Mr.
Listen to me.
President?
I've got the floor now, not you. So you listen to me now. The motion on the object on the floor is to approve the committee assignments or not approve them. That's where we're at.
I can make an amendment motion. It is based on Robert's rule. I can.
Make a I'm having you want to make a motion to what?
To just finance chair be Director Askari.
Not motion, amendment.
Amendment motion. And it is legal by Robert's rule. You know better than me.
Well, you're making a motion. Is there a second?
Yes.
I will second it.
All right, what's the motion? Repeat your motion.
The motion is the finance chair be the treasurer of the United Mutual, Director Askari, as the same with third and GRF.
We're not third and we're not GRF. We don't have to do anything they do. All right, let's go.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to debate this now.
I would like to say two things. Number one, I was treasurer of United
May I'm
for over
the next
6
one.
years.
I'm the
Please
next
shut
one.
up. I was
I'm
treasurer.
next one on the line.
Shut up.
No, she had her hand up.
Okay, I was treasurer of United for at least 6 years, so don't tell me I don't know how to do that particular function. And number two, you guys ended up with all the executive officers on the board. You ended up with all of them. The rest of us have none. And this is our thing, to have at least the finance. Thank you.
All right, Director Lee, do you have anything?
Can I speak now?
Director, you're out of order. I'm going to mute you if you keep interrupting. Director Casey.
Yes. One, I would like to say, one of the things on the agenda is to have our meetings in the boardroom. And that's going to be very important. And so I don't know if Director Azari wants to have a boardroom meeting or if she wants to continue with Zoom, but it just isn't working out. And also that you're very combative. And we've had a lot of problems with our board, and we need to get into a more compassionate board that acts in a better way. So that is one reason why I would not want you to be on it. Manny, quit, because you keep on going after something that is answered, and you will not stop. I've seen you do it so many times, in closed meetings especially.
Please don't make it personal.
It's not personal. It's
Yeah.
real. It's real. It's not
Mute
personal.
him.
Please stop that.
Mute him.
Out of order.
Please. Mute Andre, please. He's not. You don't have the floor.
Out of order.
You don't have the floor.
Out of order. I don't have.
You don't have the floor.
I don't need the floor.
Director Casey has the floor. Okay, Director Casey, finish.
Yeah, I just want to see a good board, that's all. I think Pat English has a lot of experience, and I think we need to have a change. And Director Lee would like to comment, and Andre, you're kind of a similar situation.
Director Lee.
I've been in the board,
Director Lee,
this is my third board meeting.
Director Lee has the floor.
This is my third experience being in the board meeting, and it really makes me feel sad and disappointed where we cannot conduct our meeting with respect. And if there's no respect, then what do we have? If we cannot work together, then what do we have? Why are we here? And I also feel very strongly the meeting in person in the boardroom it's very, very important. And having this Zoom meeting is difficult. And all these loud voices over the Zoom meeting, it's just like, to me, it's not acceptable. I think we need to be civilized. We need to be respectful for each other and put any derogatory comments against other board members. It should not be acceptable in this room. You know, we have to honor our board, and I really would appreciate if we come back to our senses and behave respectfully. Thank you. And actually, and start producing work instead of all this petty argument back and forth. And the meeting, there's no flow to this meeting, because if we talk about item number 10, somebody argue about item 9 that's already passed. If we talk about something else, it's always so, we're not focused, we're not on the same page. And how can we expect to be productive? And I really wish before this year ends, we resolve this situation. This is really embarrassing. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Lee. Thank you. All right, Director Bastani.
Yeah, thank you. Initially, my hand has been up for a long time, but you don't give a chance for me to talk. First, I'd like to say in agenda meeting, what you said was wrong, because you came up with this committee assignment and you put it over there and your gang voted for it. So there was no discussion about it. Secondly, the committee assignment should be given to people who have merits to do good for the village, to help, not to just for your friends. And you dishing like this committee assignment, you're treating them like dishes for your friend. So I will vote against it, whatever.
Well, I resent you saying that, because we were at the agenda prep meeting. I did nothing but go around the table from the people who were present. You must have been asleep at the meeting.
No, I wasn't asleep. I was very awake, and I was listening to you, because this was an important issue. And you came, you had a revision 3. Before that, suddenly you came with another revision that nobody had seen.
Well, that's wrong. I took the committee assignments. You're wrong. You're wrong. I took the committee assignments by committee, and we went around the table for everyone, so you're wrong.
Order, please respect. There is no merit on your assignments. Just you're under pressure from your gang to change the assignment.
You know, you're accusing me of something, and when you're accusing another person of something, I can sue you. Do you know that? Because you're not covered by insurance. I went around the table with a quorum there, and I did not push anybody. All right, Director Ascari, what do you got to say?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 3 comments.
Can I speak first? I'm not the first one on the list. My hand's still up.
Director Ascari has the floor.
Okay. First, thank you for Director Lee talking about respect. Today, 2 times Director English use word shut up. If shut up is irrespectful, is actually was used this word by Diane Casey a lot. And if this bring respect, then good luck. Good luck that bring respect when you are using shut up in the open board meeting. 2 times Pat English said that one today. That's number one. Number two, regarding to coming to the board, I have no problem. Based on COVID-19, I prefer to not to be as a group in one place. As we can see, is really, really concerning. If there is possibility, we be at Zoom. But I have no problem to come to the board. As last year we saw Director Casey couldn't come to any board meeting because she was taking care of her grandchild, running around the table while watching and talking to the other directors and eating and feeding the children. And we saw all things on the video. So as you can see, there is no problem to come. Please make this one fair and equal. Director English already has the chair of the MNC, which is a huge job with lots of reading of contracts. I did not say you don't have experience, Pat, don't take it personally and don't put in my word. You have experience, but experience changed from last 6 months. As Maggie said, many things change in the email says many things change from the last few months, last few years. So please understand that I am working and I am asking everybody be fair. Maggie has 2 chairs. You, Pat English, has 2 chairs, and Diane has chairs. And this is not honoring. This is a vote. I am asking, let's be fair and let's spread the work on the shoulder of all directors. So please do not consider that one and be reasonable to vote rather than taking. Listen to what Director Lee that just came said. Let's work together. If goes this direction, we are not working together. Pat is going to be good at MNC, and then we are working together. So, and I am spending time. So what is the redundant as a treasurer? I spend time and review, and again, you come. Just put that time to the MNC and bring new things and new ideas to us. Please don't take this one personally. I am not attacking anyone. I am saying let's work together. And I am not asking anything unusual. Actually, this is practicing forever. So I am not asking anything unusual. Please consider this one. And let's, as you said, working together and not. And another, Mr. President, by Robert's rules, is not right that one director non-stop laughing at other directors when they are talking. Please consider to tell her to not to laugh to other directors. Thank you so much.
All right, now I want to read this into the record. Our committee assignments were the result of a consensus of a quorum and are put forward by the board for final approval. Now, before I go on any further, I want Mr. Beaumont to talk about the problem of directors mentioning other directors' name when it's clear that you should be addressing the chair and not attacking each other. Mr. Beaumont, please, tell us the law.
Mr. President, you're absolutely correct, and it's really the heart of Robert's rules universally and any recognized system of parliamentary procedure that the directors address the chair, whether it's by calling a motion or debate. The chair should be the subject of any discussion and debate, and it should not be directed at any one director.
Thank you, Jeff. All right, so now what we can do, it sounds like we're reaching an impasse here. So what we can do, if you're not happy with this, is refer it back to a committee. and then make sure you show up at the committee, and we'll redo it again, because I went around the table on this. I didn't do it on my own. So if you want to, somebody can make a motion to refer this to committee.
My hands are up. My hand is up.
All right, keep it short. You're taking too much time here. You got the floor. What do you want?
Okay, please be polite. You're the president. You set examples.
Don't
okay?
correct me.
Thank you very much for your politeness. I'm reading the bylaw. Okay? Treasurer. The treasurer shall attend to the following. First, books of account. Second, deposit and disbursement of money and valuables. The whole thing, you can read it yourself. Third, bond. All these informations are under the responsibility of the treasurer. Finance committee is established to support treasurer, the function of the treasurer. So it is very important that the treasurer be consistent. Treasurer be the chair of the finance committee.
It doesn't say that. You just read it. It does not say that.
It doesn't say what you want to say either. What it says is that according to bylaw. Somebody stop? What it says in bylaw, treasurer is responsible for all finance issues. Bylaw overrides committee charter. The committee charter, assignment is that, if you don't want to assign the treasurer as the chair of the finance committee, that finance committee has
It doesn't
no
say that. It doesn't say that. And once again, let me remind you all again that this was done in the agenda prep meeting, and we went around the board. It wasn't me. So get that out of your head and out of the discussion. If you don't like what it is, then make a motion to send it back to a committee.
You mentioned that, well, let's just make a temporary decision. During the board, we can discuss it further. Didn't you remember that? That's what you said.
You're not listening to me. We discussed this at the agenda prep meeting, and you were on there.
Yes, I agree.
You know we did it. Nate
Yes, I
Ardani,
agree.
you're up. You got the floor.
What you said.
Director Ardani has the
that-
floor. You're out of order. Mute this guy.
What you said
Mute
is-
him. Tired of him.
What you said is that
Director
what you said
Ardani,
is
you got the floor.
we
Sorry,
have a
Mr.
right to talk. We can talk about it during.
Director
We can talk
Ardani.
about it. We can talk about.
Director
We can
Ardani
talk-
has the floor.
Okay, Mr. President, it seems that for all committee that we have two problems for the finance and maintenance. If possible, can we get the vote again and then we finished it? Because as I understand this month, the staff is kind of confusing. For example, when it's the member hearing coming and they don't know who is going to be a chair or who is the member for this committee. I just wanted to finish that today and everybody knows about all the committee, who is the chair and who is the member. If we can do these two committees, is the finance and maintenance. And as I remember, we suggested that for the maintenance committee, 6 months, the Reza is the chair, and the next 6 months, Pat be a chair. We can even do that motion too. This is my suggestion. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Director Ardani. Now, again, the reason why I did what I did at the agenda prep meeting is so I couldn't be accused of favoritism. And yet you're accusing me of it now. So, to resolve the problem...
No, I'm not accusing.
No, I'm not talking. I'm not talking to you.
Accusing.
I'm not meaning you, Director Ardani. I'm
I'm
not
just
directing to you.
suggesting. I'm just suggesting.
But here's what we did. If you look at the agenda, it's agenda item 12B. Now, Well, we either approve it or disapprove it. If you want to change, we have an amendment on the floor to change it. Where, did we make an amendment to change this?
Yes,
We did, Mr. Chair.
And it's a second.
Yes.
All right. So what's
I
the
will
change?
say, I second it. Anthony, I mean that for the finance committee and the maintenance, let's get another vote. We all here, you know, for the prep meeting, for example, Azar wasn't in the meeting.
Well, wait a minute now. Somebody
Point
already
of
made the
order.
motion, right? We're debating the motion. What is
May
the
I?
motion as,
Motion is,
May I request point of order?
yes.
Out of order?
no,
What do you wanna-
mute him. He's done, I'm done
May I
talking with this guy. Mute him. All right, where are we going here?
Does the Robert,
Who made, Asghari, did you make the motion or was it Bastani?
what does Robert,
Yes, I made the amended motion and is already second by Mr. Bastani,
All right.
Director Bastani.
So let's get the motion clear again. Could you repeat it again so I can write it down?
The motion is to amend the committee appointments to have Director Azar Asghari be the chair of the Finance Committee.
All right, so the motion is by Grant that we change that, make Director Asghari the head of the chair of the Finance Committee. That's the motion?
That's
And it's
correct.
been seconded?
It has.
Okay, let's stop all this nonsense and have a vote. Director
this is
Casey.
against the bylaw.
Director Casey.
I vote no.
This
No.
whole arrangement is against the
Director
bylaw.
Blackwell.
No.
Mute him. No. Director English.
No.
Director Lee. No. Director Bastani. You're muted.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Director Asghari.
Yes,
Director Neda Ardani.
Yes.
Director Cash Aquicar.
no,
Let's see. Director Torn.
This is against the bylaw. The
Not
whole
against-
thing is
I'm
against
asking you
the
for a
bylaw.
vote. What's your vote? Yes or
I'm-
no?
Yes, this is against the bylaw. You don't care about bylaw, I don't think.
I know the bylaws better than you do. All right, so you
What
vote
does
yes.
the bylaw say?
So there's 4
What
yeses
does the
and
bylaw
5
say?
noes.
Can we talk about bylaw?
Wait, there are four.
No, it's not on the agenda.
It
It's
passes.
a dilatory motion.
It's-
So I
it's-
have
it-
4 yeses
And
and
five.
5 noes. So if it doesn't pass.
All right.
So go on to 12C. And we already discussed this a little bit.
Mr. Chair, we voted on the amendment. Now we may vote on the main motion.
Yeah, right.
All right, I'm sorry, yeah, that was the amendment, it failed. So now we vote on the main motion to accept the committee appointments or not. So let's go around again, let's start with this
how
time.
about for 6 months for Reza Bastani? Neda said.
He did
Bastani
vote.
voted,
He
I
did
got
vote.
his vote, he voted yes.
All right.
So the amendment fails. Now we're voting on the original motion.
Sorry, Anthony. I just do the motion for doing the 6 months maintenance committee for Pat and 6 months for Reza. We didn't get the vote for that.
There was no second for that.
No, there wasn't a
I
second.
second it.
No, Reza declined. He did not want to work on the committee with Pat.
Right, he
So he
didn't want-
declined at the meeting.
He declined that at the agenda prep meeting. He does not want to work with a woman.
All right. Are we voting?
All right, so let's take the vote on the amendment, on the committee assignments. Let's start with, this time we'll start with Director Lee.
Sorry, Anthony. Just for secretary purpose, it's I heard that you guys said 5 yes and 4 no. How is that two other votes? I didn't hear it. I just want to, when I sign some things, it's just
I
to correct,
didn't,
and I
well, we
remember
don't,
that.
Director Armendariz is not here, and I didn't vote. So it's, you got 9 people voting, 4 yes and 5 no. I
Thank you
didn't
so much.
vote.
I approve,
I vote yes.
yeah, the United Committee assignments.
You vote yes, Pearl's yes. Director
That's yes.
English is yes. Director Blackwell?
Yes.
Director Casey?
Yes.
Director Bastani? You're
What are
muted.
what are we asking about?
We're voting now, the amendment failed, so we're voting on the original motion to approve the committee assignments as written.
I abstain because this is a gang warfare. There's nothing we can do.
You
about it.
should be accusing people of stuff that you have no proof
ahead,
for. You
go
can be
ahead.
sued. Okay, what else we got here? Director Ascari?
Absolutely no. This is not biologic at all. This is a friendship. This is a backing.
Thank you, Director Ascari. Director Cash Aklikar?
Vote no.
No. Okay, who did I miss? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Andre.
6, 7, huh? Andre, Director Torn, how do you vote?
This is against the bylaw.
I'm
We can't
asking
even
for your vote.
here.
How do you vote on
This
this?
is against the bylaw.
It's not against the bylaws. Now, I want your vote, or I'm going to mute you again.
Treasurer is responsible for finance.
What do you vote?
According
What's
to the
your
bylaw.
vote? Yay or nay? Yay or nay?
No,
Okay.
no,
okay,
treasurer
Thank
is
you, Director
responsible
Torn.
for finance.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm missing. I'm not going to vote, so I'm 9.
Director Ardani?
Abstain for me.
Abstain. Thank you very much.
It's 4 to 4.
So the ayes have it. The committee assignments stand as written.
Is that the count?
The count is there is 4 in favor, there is 3 opposed, and 2 abstain.
Okay, so the yeas win.
All right, let's move on now to item 12C. Discuss and consider hybrid meetings. Now, this is just a discussion. We're not going to vote on anything, so I don't think we need a motion on this. We're just going to discuss it and see, get everybody's opinion. Let's start with Director Lee. We're on 12C.
Yeah, I feel that the work can be more effective if everybody's here in the board and we can wear masks and whatever provisions we need to make. If social distancing is required, it's already partitioned. I don't see a problem having a board meeting right here. And I would like to see everybody once a month basis and work together. I think it would be a lot easier for me.
Thank you, Director Lee. Director English.
Yes, I believe that we're much better off working as a group together rather than having these Zoom meetings. These Zoom meetings I find extremely difficult. I miss quite a few of the words because the Zoom goes off. And it's difficult with different accents and things like that. I find it extremely difficult. And I think the best way to go is a proper meeting in the boardroom. Thank you.
Director Blackwell.
I favor in boardroom meetings with masks. I think that's the way we should go. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Casey.
Yes, I agree. In board meeting is good, and if somebody can't attend, they can, probably go on something with the grant and get their questions in or comments made. So I would like to be in the boardroom. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Casey. Director Bastani, how do you feel about this question here on 12C? Discuss and consider hybrid meetings.
I think hybrid meeting is very good, especially due to COVID. Now, we have to wear masks and not to be too close to one another. So I prefer a hybrid meeting.
Okay, thank you, Director Bastani. Director Cash, Aquacar.
I think the way the meetings are going on Zoom, I would rather see them happen in the boardroom. Meeting will be short and to the point versus on the internet Zoom.
Thank you, Director Aquacar. Director Ardani.
If it's just Boban tell us about the law, it's going to be great because I wanted to stop this discussion that every time we just bring it up. If it's the law said that we can use the hybrid and virtual meeting, that we can do it. It's not about who prefer or who not. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Ardani. Director Torn.
I agree with that. We need to meet in public, and so everybody can see us. And look at these days, nobody's showing up. No residents showing up.
Yeah, you're right.
And they all talk on the social media. So because they can see us, they cannot get on the web. So it needs to be in person. That's the better way of communication. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Torn. Director Ascari.
Please understand this is an option. An option is that this is a preference. We are a volunteer that we are here and should not be a force either one, especially with this COVID. Did you hear what just Mr. Parker said about the COVID? Again, so being all in room and being other people in room, maybe some people are concerned about safety. So I suggested leave it option open. If some people want to be in the board, welcome. If some people not, welcome to that one. So it shouldn't be one way or other way by force for volunteer job. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Ascari. Who have I missed?
Nobody.
Does Jeff want to speak?
Well, I just want to get the directors first, then we'll go to Jeff. Who did I miss? I got 9, right?
didn't.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I would be 10, and Armandaris would be 11. All right, we got it. Jeff, do you have anything to add to this discussion? We're not voting on anything. We're just getting everybody's feelings on having meetings here or continue with the hybrid thing.
Mr. President, my hands have been up. I have a question from Jeff.
Well, I talked to you, didn't I?
Yes.
So let Jeff goes around first. Jeff first, then we'll come back to you. You've already talked. Go ahead, Jeff.
This subject.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to go over the law, which is the Davis-Sterling Act does allow the board to conduct meetings, not just in person, but by virtual meetings through Zoom. And a hybrid meeting is certainly allowed under the Davis-Sterling Act. And with the state of affairs right now and the numbers that we're seeing in the governor's recent order, which goes into place tomorrow, my recommendation is, as much as I would prefer to be in person, my recommendation is to at least give directors the option to participate via video conference, but certainly recommend and encourage people to come in person with masks. But again, because of the numbers, because we're dealing with demographics that individuals may be in a vulnerable position from a health perspective, that option should be made available to directors at this time.
Thank you, Jeff. Bastani, you have something else to add to this?
Yes, I have a question from Jeff regarding succession. We had our first vice president resign. Based on Robert's rule, when the first vice president resigns, second vice president becomes automatically takes the place and becomes the first vice president.
No.
Do you have any thoughts on this, whether we should follow or not?
Mr. President, if I may, if the first vice president resigns, then there's a vacancy, and the vacancy is the first vice president position. There isn't an automatic transfer of spaces or positions from the second vice president to the first. All that means is that in the absence of the president, the second vice president would step in and to take the president's place until the board appoints someone to the first president position. So the first president's position right now is vacant. And you have a president, you have a second vice president, and you need to fill that first vice president position. The second vice president does not automatically go into the first vice president's position, but the second vice president does act on behalf of the president when the president is unable to at this point because you have a vacancy.
Let me read you this section, 47.29 of Robert's Rule. And I'm quoting, if the first vice president resigns, the second vice president becomes first vice president. That's exactly from Robert's Rule right here. Are you saying it's not valid?
What section is in Robert's rules?
It's not in our bylaws.
It's not in Robert's rules.
It's not in our
It's not
bylaws.
Robert's rules.
Maggie!
It is on page 436, section 47:29.
What I think that's referring to is that when the first vice president resigns and there is no longer a first vice president, the second vice president acts as the first vice president.
Right.
Whenever the president is available.
That's the case now.
No.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think Jeff is correct with the Roberts rules. If I were to drop dead, if there's no, the second would come in. But that doesn't mean it's a permanent appointment. Now, what I favor to avoid being accused of being partial, I'd like to let it up to the board. I don't want to be the king here, or I'd like to let it up, let the board fill the first vice presidency.
This is automatic. Robert's rule said it's automatically. It's automatic. Like Robert's rule, President, but only when it...
Listen, I'm the expert on Robert's rules, and you're wrong. I'm the expert on Robert's rules. How's that grab you?
I move that we have an election for first vice president at this time.
There's a motion on the floor, a motion to vote for first vice president right now by Maggie Blackwell. I hear no second, so Diane?
I second that motion, and we make nominations?
Not yet. We have to decide if we're going to do it.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to elect or appoint a first vice president. We have a second on Diane Casey. Now it's up for discussion.
Just vote.
Is it for Diane?
My hand is up.
Maggie? For Diane or Maggie?
Well, we have.
There are hands up.
Oh my goodness, my hand is up.
Well, you know what I do here. I told you before, I go around to the people here and then I go to the monitor.
Okay, go.
Now, we don't have any,
We are just saying.
we don't have any candidates to volunteer for this, so Right now, the motion's on the floor to elect a first vice president, and it's been seconded. So let's start with a discussion. Let's start with Diane Casey. Director Casey.
Yeah, well, I would like to make a nomination.
Not at this time.
This time? Okay.
No.
Well, I mean, I really think it would be best to do it once we get another person, you know, on the board, you know, have a full board to decide. But, you know, I'm not opposed to voting today, you know, at all. So it just depends.
Well, okay, Director Blackwell.
I think it's good that we get it done now. The other person may or may not. You can always vote again when the other person comes on the board, because all officers serve at the will of the board. So the board can vote off the board any officer at any time. They can say, we need a new treasurer, or we need a new secretary, or we need a new something. And at that time, the board decides whether or not they should have an election, and then they go through the process. But we have already been a month and a half or 2 months without a first vice president. I haven't been doing those things for Anthony Mosley. I think it's time. Who knows what will happen when we will have the new election.
Director English?
I don't know what to say. Excuse me. I don't know what to say. I'm not quite sure exactly what's going on here and who's going to run for first vice president.
Well,
Would
we're
that be
discussing,
Maggie?
well, first of all, the motion is to discuss whether we vote for a first vice president today. We have no candidates. We're talking about discussing the idea of doing it today.
I think that probably would be a good idea to do it today, and that would be one thing that we'd get clarified, I think, but I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about anything right now.
Director Lee?
I agree. I think we need to take care of all the things by today, so next year we'll be ready to go.
Okay. Director Ardani?
No comment.
No comment. Director Cash Akrakar?
I have no comment at this time. I think we should continue and go at that.
Okay, Cash. Director Bastani?
I put my idea first. We don't need to vote.
We're voting on the idea. Should we do it today or not?
No.
No. Director Ascari?
First, I have a question before I said, because Maggie, I just heard that in the last 1.5 months, I am doing vice president job. While we have second president and our lawyer said, as an acting first vice president, why, Mr. President, Tony, why Maggie should be acting as the vice president while second president supposedly to do that? Could you answer that one?
That's not the question. The question.
He said that one, and all residents
Now,
heard that one.
answer the question. We're talking about should we nominate a first vice president today? There is none. The question is, do you want to do it today or do you want to defer it?
Mr. President, you should, if you don't let we are talking, this is not a board. You don't let us talk. You only let 4 people that
well, you're wrong. I resent that. I resent that. You're wrong. I resent it. You're wrong. I resent that.
I am wrong.
I resent
Can I
that
finish my
accusation.
sentence?
Anthony, just say yes or no.
Can I send my...
No, I want to
sentence?
know, are you in favor of voting for a first vice president today, or do you want to defer
What is
it?
the point? You 4 people get everything, get all chairs, get all officers. You 4 people come
Do
together.
you want to
This is a
vote
yes,
for the
it's not
first
a
vice
vote.
president today or not?
Goodness, this is
Are we
not
in a
vote.
discussion? Are we in
This is
discussion
not
or
a
no
vote.
discussion allowed?
Yes
Are we
or
in
no?
discussion or no discussion allowed?
We don't have the 10th person. We don't have the 11th person. This is not the right.
Well, then say
Who is
that.
gonna be?
Yes
We just
or
want you to
no?
know. Then say we'll defer it.
It doesn't
Let her
matter
talk.
because you are 5. Do you understand?
If she won't
Let
vote,
her
go
talk.
to cash.
Everybody can understand what you are doing. 5 of you together. Every resident can understand what you are doing.
Yes or no?
Yes or no? Do you want to vote for a
This
first
is
vice
open
president?
meeting.
Answer
President
the
can hear.
question.
I said you have to wait until the last one comes.
Is that a yes or a no?
Means no, obvious.
If there is a no.
All right. Director Torn, do you want to replace the first vice president today, or do you want to defer it?
This is not on the agenda. Why are we bringing this issue up?
It is on the agenda. Look,
Oh,
it's 12C.
13A, Mr. Chair.
Or 13A, entertain a motion to approve officer appointment. 13A.
That one. Okay.
It's on the agenda.
No.
Pay
No,
attention.
the question I have.
Pay attention.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or
I
no?
am trying to. Can I discuss?
Yes or no?
Can I give my comment?
What, yes
not
or a
allowed.
no? It's a very
Can
simple
I
yes
give
or
my
no.
comment? Is this a discussion or?
No, it's
not.
a
Is that
vote.
discussion
This
or
is
not?
discussion, Maggie. Maggie, this is discussion.
You know, mute
have a second
Ascari.
vice
She's out of
president.
control.
We have a second vice president that's ready to step in to
Nope.
help out the
Nope.
first vice
That-
president.
Go on to the next person. That's no vote. That's a, there is.
Wait a minute. We have a second. I'm commenting on that. Am I not allowed to comment on any motion?
We're taking a vote. Pay attention.
You didn't go through the. You
Pay
didn't go through
attention.
the comments portion.
Cash.
Do we
There's
want
no
to do it
discussion
or we
there.
don't want to do it? If you don't want to do it, we defer it. What's the big deal?
We need to discussion why we vote. We need to let the residents
No,
or
it's
members
not, that's
know why
not
we
the
vote.
question. The question is, do we want to replace the first vice president today, or do we want to wait till we get the 11th director on?
We have a. Let me comment
Go
on
to
that
the
before
next
I vote.
one. He's
Why I
not
vote?
voting.
That's the problem with the communication. It's nobody allowed to express why you vote yes
Well,
or no.
I tell you what, you're dominating the discussion. You're doing all the talking, not anybody else.
Who's talking right now?
You are. You're running your mouth the whole meeting.
Okay, let me talk.
I
Let me
call
talk.
for the vote.
Cash, the Director Aquacar.
We are doing the whole thing illegally.
Director
We have no
Aquacar.
discussion.
We are voting on what? Postponing or?
Whether, no, we're,
What is the
right,
motion?
either we're going to vote to replace the first president's open seat today, or first vice president, or we defer it until we get the 11th director.
We vote today, yes. Vote today.
That's
There's no rule that says all 11 people have to be present.
No.
Somebody's
We
sick,
have-
what do we
as
do?
long as we have a
No rule that
quorum,
says
we can do it.
We can vote with
As
10
long as
people.
we have a
Yeah.
quorum, we can do it.
take the final vote.
That's right. We have a quorum.
Does
Right, we have a quorum, so we can conduct business.
Neda?
And all the question was,
Exactly.
is do we want to replace the first vice president today, or do you want to defer it until we get the 11th director?
I said yes. We want to elect today, we have the quorum.
Neda.
Okay,
We don't have to wait for the,
Right,
Cash says yes.
Neda.
Diane,
She
She
voted.
rest
Neda.
to replace? Maggie Blackwell?
That was a yes. We have 5 yeses. Neda?
Yes. Pearl's yes.
My vote is no. I prefer to be 11 people.
Okay, no.
Okay.
Director Ascari, yes or no?
My second no. I already said no.
Okay, I'm just going to get my
And the
count
result
straight.
is very obvious.
Director Bastani?
I have said no.
No, okay.
Don't have enough people. We have to wait
Go ahead.
until we have a full board.
Torn.
We have a quorum, we can conduct business legally. Okay, did I ask Nita?
Yes, you did.
All right.
Torn.
And Director Torn, how do you vote, yes or no?
He said no.
No,
Okay.
okay.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, we got 4 noes and 3 yeses.
5 yeses.
5?
Mr. Chair, would you mind having Director Lee and Director English state their vote once more?
Yeah. Director Lee?
Yes.
Who else?
Me.
Director English, if you would like to state your vote.
Director English, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so what is it?
5 to 4.
5 to 4. Okay, so now the board
Nominate.
wants to replace the first vice president today. So now, let's go around for
No, you take a nomination.
Diane.
Yeah, I would like to nominate Maggie Blackwell.
And I'll second that.
I accept.
All right, Maggie's been nominated and seconded. Director
wanna
Bastani,
nominate.
No.
do you have any nominations?
I want to nominate, can I nominate?
Director
someone?
Bastani,
You just ask for nominations.
Yes.
You don't.
what's I'm looking for, that's what I'm
You
doing.
just say, are there any further nominations?
Director Bastani, do you have anybody you want to offer as first vice president?
I
Not
said,
buddy. We don't work on a buddy system.
Mute this guy, trying to conduct business here. What'd you say, Director Bastani?
I said myself, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Director Ascari.
Are we voting already?
We're
No.
getting
Oh, we are still in
nominations.
the nomination.
Pay attention.
Okay,
Director Ascari.
so why is it yes?
Director Ascari, do you have anybody you want to nominate for first vice president?
So far, who is nominated so far?
Maggie and Director Bastani.
No, but the result is very obvious. What is the point of spending time? 5 people, you are together. What you are trying to do to residents?
I'm asking you, do you have anybody you want to nominate for first vice president? That's all you have to tell me, if you have a name.
Mr. President,
There-
please be aware what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing.
There are being.
I'm asking for nominations for first vice president. That's what I'm doing. And I'm going around and
Yes,
asking
that's what
everybody.
I said. So far we have Maggie and Reza Bastani, but the result is obvious because you are 5 together. You came by one flyer.
You're wrong.
Uh,
I'm outraged that you would accuse me of anything like that. Now, do you have anybody you want to nominate for this position or not?
I changed my position. I don't want to be nominated. I don't want to be
Director Bastani just withdrew his name. All right, let's go on here. Nate Ardani, do you have anybody you want to nominate?
Because this is a game.
We can vote your gang.
Nate Ardani, do you have anybody you want to vote for first vice president?
I nominate Mrs. Pearlie.
Pearlie.
I decline. I'm not ready,
declines.
Netta.
All right. Cash Akrikar, do you have anybody you want to nominate for first vice president?
No, not at this time.
All right, he has no. All right, who else? Director Torn, do you have anybody you want to nominate?
Yes, I want to nominate Pat English. She's experienced in these things.
Okay, we have 2 people here. We have Maggie Blackwell.
No,
And-
I don't accept the nomination.
Pat declines. So we only have 1 person here for first vice president. That's Maggie Blackwell.
Okay, that's it.
And since there are no other nominations, she gets it because there is nobody else in the race. So Maggie Blackwell will be the first vice president.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if you at this time like to entertain a motion to approve a resolution of officers.
All right, we have a resolution to approve officer. What section is that? Where are we at?
That is 13A on the agenda.
Okay, 13A, motion to approve officer appointment. All right, so Maggie's the only one up there. I don't think I need approval, right? There's no other running.
We already
You need to
voted
approve
it.
resolution for that fact.
Right,
We need a resolution?
yes.
Okay.
But you should get a vote, so people, residents should know that only your group.
Well, you
your
know what?
vice
If there's only one
president-
person nominated, who are you going to vote for? Bugs Bunny?
Bugs Bunny would be better.
Because you've
Bugs
been
Bunny would be
All right, we
much
have a
better.
resolution here. Maggie
why there was no-
Blackwell has been voted, is the first vice president. Let's have a, Diane Casey.
If there is a resolution, you need to count the vote.
I would like to make a motion
Otherwise, resolution doesn't work.
The resolution.
to move the resolution for the new.
He doesn't know, man.
All right, we
He's
have a
just
resolution. Be quiet. We have a resolution to
Please be
move the
respectful.
resolution.
And Pat seconded it.
Pat seconded. So the resolution is what? I'm confused now.
We have to vote, the vote is to accept.
The resolution is to accept Maggie Blackwell as the first vice president.
Joke.
Well, we can mute you too.
It's been a joke.
All right, so here we go. It's a resolution 121. Nita, do you have, you're the secretary, you should be reading this.
Is it okay that Maggie read it because I kind of have a cold?
Okay. Nate Ardani defers to Maggie Blackwell. Maggie?
All right. Let me find it. Resolved on December 14, 2021, pursuant to the United Laguna Woods Mutual Bylaws, Article 9, which sets the guidelines, terms, and responsibilities for the election of officers to this corporation. The following persons are hereby elected to office indicated next to their names to serve. Anthony Liberatore is the president, Maggie Blackwell, first vice, Reza Bastani, second vice, Neda Ardani, secretary, Azar Asghari, treasurer. Resolved further that the following staff person is hereby appointed as ex officio officer of the corporation. Jeff Parker is vice president ex officio. Siobhan Foster is assistant secretary ex officio. Steve Hormuth is assistant treasurer ex officio. Resolved further that resolution 01-2162 adopted October 12, 2021 is hereby superseded and canceled, and resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are directed on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. I move this resolution.
The resolution has been moved by Director Blackwell. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second. All in favor of the
I
resolution?
second.
Okay, thank you. So let's take a vote. Diane?
I agree, yes.
Director Blackwell?
Yes.
Director English?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Director Ardani?
Abstain?
Abstain. Director Bastani?
What are we voting now?
We're voting on the resolution of officers. And we just voted on Maggie Blackwell taking the job of first vice president. So now we're voting on that resolution that outlines all the officers and ex officio officers.
The other officers should be voted when we have full board. Nobody has resigned.
Is that
Yeah, but the
an
thing is, you don't understand. We have a quorum, and having a quorum, we can conduct business.
Don't understand. You're a gang boss.
I take that as an abstention.
So you want to abstain or no?
No comment. This is illegal.
Abstention.
Director Ascari?
President, this is illegal what you're doing. Hope you're doing what you know. You know what you're doing.
Well, there's a
Maggie is
resolution.
controlling everything.
We're voting on the
This
resolution.
is a bound. This is a bound. This is a bound. This is a gang. This is not a board. This
We're
is not
voting
a
on a
board. I hope
resolution. Are you voting, or are you abstaining, or are you voting no? That's all we need to know.
this is not right.
You
First, you
cannot
have to
vote
ask
on
her.
illegal.
We'll take that as a no.
Illegal.
Jeff is here.
Go ahead,
He can say what.
Cash Akrakar.
Cash, how do you vote?
I approve, yes, yes.
Neda.
Nada? I don't think she's not voting.
She abstained.
Yeah, she abstained.
Yes, already abstained.
All right, Director Torn, how do you vote?
No.
Okay. So it's
Okay, who
5 to
else we
4.
missing here? We got
5
1, 2,
to 4.
3, 4. That's 5 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
Grant, is that what you have?
The
5 to
rest
4?
of the year is 5 to 4. For the rest of the year is 5 to 4.
We
Rest of
have,
the year.
we could
And
have
next year.
currently 5 in favor, 2 opposed, and 2 abstain.
Right,
Okay, so the ayes have it.
right.
The resolution passes.
Thank you.
14, now we get on the committee reports. And I realize with this thing with the committees, we might be out a few reports. So let's start with the Finance Committee. Director Ascari, do you have a report for the Finance Committee? Oh, we lost him.
Yes, they have to show the first slide.
My screen is blank, Grant.
I have a report if she doesn't. I have the report to read as the finance chair.
Oh, wait a minute, no.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Ascari?
Pat, you weren't even in last meeting. Pat, you weren't even in
You're out
last
of
meeting.
order. Mute Director Torn.
You weren't in the finance meeting. How can you report if you're not in the finance meeting?
Director Ascari?
Mr. President, your new finance chair is not aware of the procedure. This is a treasurer report. She said she has been 6 years, but apparently shows right off the
So
bat.
you want
she
her
doesn't
to
know
give,
anything.
you want her to give the report, is that correct? Am I hearing you right?
No, I hope you hear correctly. She doesn't know. This is treasurer report. Read it. Read it.
Well, I'm asking you, do you want to give the report or not?
Oh my goodness. My goodness. Who is treasurer?
Azar, will you please?
Treasurer report.
Azar, please
This
give
is
the
treasurer
report.
report.
Give the.
Yes, this is treasurer
Yes.
I
report.
want to know.
Please,
Treasurer report.
please.
Are you going to give the
report
report?
from now on?
Please.
Bizarre, you are responsible for the report from
Yes,
now on.
yes, I
Treasurer.
am reading. I am reading. If Maggie let me, I am reading.
Well, give the report, you're holding us up.
Goodness, goodness,
Goodness.
goodness. God help. God first, before I start, I am asking God help us with this word for the new year. This band and gang is God help us. Slide 1. Through the reporting period of October 31st, 2021, total revenue of United was $38,744,000 compared to expenses $37,000, resulting in net revenue $1.5 million. Can we have slide 2, please? Thank you. In finance, we keep a close eye on the operating portion of our financial results. The operating fund shows an operating deficit of $86,000 through the reporting period. This chart shows how much of our revenue went into operation, with $17.9 million coming in from assessment and $1.2 million coming from non-assessment revenue. This is compared to operating expenditures of $19.2 million without depreciation. Can we have slide 3, please? This next chart takes the full income statement and compares those results to budget. We can see that United ended the period better than budget by $4.2 million when combining both operating and reserve savings. And that shows in the slide, both of them. Can we have the slide 4, please? The most significant variances from budget were attributable to following. First one, as you can see on the top, is outside services, $2.6 million. Favorable variance resulting from late start of programming due to COVID-19. Budgets are spread evenly for programs such as building structures and baseline remediation, and plumbing and tree maintenance. Number 2, you can see the employee compensation comes favorable again, $1.2 million. And this is resulting primarily in the departments of maintenance and construction and landscape. Saving occurred in landscape where sharp bed maintenance was outsourced, creating saving in labor hours. In MNC, United switched from a budget 10 years paying cycle to a 15-year cycle, and that's resulting to another saving. The next one is material and supplies, $647,000. Terrible variance resulting in several areas of operation, such as interior components and plumbing and appliance replacement. And after that, you can see legal fee is $138,000 favorable again, resulting to lower expenditures to date than anticipated. As you can see, these are not favorable unrealized gain loss on investment, unfavorable variance due to adverse conditions for bond investment during the reporting period of the month. Another one is, of course, insurance, that we know that is unfavorable due to higher premiums for property and casualty insurance. And the last one is utility and phone, $180,000 unfavorable due to less seasonal rainfall. Budget was based on a 5 years average of water consumption. And in slide 5, please. On this pie chart, we show non-assessment revenues earned to date, $1.3 million, excluding the unrealized loss on available for sale investment. If you include the unrealized loss on investment, non-assessment revenue totals almost $1 million. Revenue is organized by category, starting with our largest revenue generating category, fees and charges to residents, followed by laundry, resale, processing fee, investment income, and so forth. Okay, now we can have slide 6, please. On this pie chart, we see the expenses to date of $37 million, showing that our largest category of expenses are for employee compensation. property and sales tax, followed by outside services, utilities, insurance, materials, and supplies, and so forth. At the upper right corner, we show a breakout of the utility category. You can see in this page. And can we have slide 7, please? On the next slide, we see those same expenses, excluding property and sales tax. It's the same as you can see, employee now is jumping to 41% of compensation. And slide 8. Our fund balances are shown here. The contingency fund balance on October 31st, 2021 was $1.4 million. Contribution and investment revenue totaled $618,000, while expenditures were a credit of $425,000. The reserve fund balance on October 31st, 2021 was $20.8 million. Contribution and investment revenue collected total $8.7 million, while expenditures were $8.1 million. The newly added property tax fund balance on October 31st, 2021 was $111,000. Contribution and investment revenue collected total $10.1 million, while expenditures was $10 million. And we have slide 9, please. We compare this to historical fund balance for the past 5 years on this chart, which have averaged $21 million. That's a line that you can see there in this page, the thin line. And the last page, slide 10. We have a slide here to show resale history from 2019 to 2021. Through October 31, 2021, United sales totaled 412, which is 148 higher than prior year for the same time period. The average year to date resale price for a United Mutual Manor was $278,000, which is $20,000 higher than prior year for the same time period. And this was the Treasurer report. Thank you.
Sorry, Anthony, it's 12:30. Is it okay that we just do the report very quick? Thank you.
I sat in for that. Director Bastani was having some issues, and we didn't have anything to recommend to the board for their approval. And our next meeting is December 16th, at 9:30 a.m. in the boardroom, and it's virtual. It's a hybrid meeting. Report of the member hearings. Director Ardani, do you have anything to report on that?
The last session that Director Maggie Blackwell was there.
Right, no one appeared, so we had no meeting.
All right. And the next meeting for that is January 27th, 2022. Report on governing documents, Director Blackwell.
Yes. Okay. Whoops. We don't have it. All right, we met and we discussed some things. We are looking for ways next time to ensure that we can also control the appearances and sales values of our property by restoring the resolutions that indicate that we can control what is on the balconies and the patios. That's the private area or semi-private area. And so we're going to restore some of that wording, and some of it is already in our documents. We'll just highlight those so that the item is not just clutter, but it is also appearance for sales purposes and rental purposes of the units. Thank you. We meet again this next week. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Director Blackwell. Report of Maintenance and Construction Committee, Director Bastani.
Skip number 8.
Oh, number 8, I'm sorry. Where?
Report of landscape committee.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
A Landscape Committee.
Oh, Landscape Committee.
You want me to?
Yes, that's me.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
Diane.
right,
Go ahead.
right.
Okay. All right. Well, that's my first chair. I really enjoyed running the meeting. It was great. We had a member, resident, who's working with BMS on controlling our bad grass that we have in the community. And also, we had a member who needed to have a tree extracted. So it was a very good meeting, and we meet again on January 13th, so it's good to get involved, like the member who did a lot of research on the grass that we have, and, get involved and contact, the committee, if you have an issue. And we meet on January 13th at 9:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Casey. Report of Maintenance and Constructor, Director Bastani.
President, you removed me from all these boards, so I wasn't in the board to make a report.
Okay, thank you, Director
Everything-
Bastani. Thank you very much. Let's see, the next meeting will be on December 22nd at 9:30 in the boardroom. The report of Resident Advisory.
Yes, I was at that meeting. We had some people that we discussed things with. There will be a next meeting, January 13th at 4 o'clock in the boardroom as a virtual meeting.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Director Blackwell. GRF Committee highlights, a report of the Finance Committee, Director Ascari.
There wasn't any meeting on November, and last one I already said for October 20th, and the next meeting is December 15th, which is tomorrow.
Thank you, Director Ascari. Report of GRF Strategic Planning Committee, Director Tong. Well, you're not on that committee. Sorry about that. Report of the Community Activities Committee, and we won't get anything there.
Yes, well, yes, I'll read it.
Were you there?
Yes, well, the online reservation systems are a plus or a minus. Some people are gaming the system, but they are figuring out how to do it. And if people cheat on the online systems, they will be referred to compliance, which is a good way to do it. And then compliance will counsel them and fine them if necessary. So that was a good plan. They discussed use of the pools and pool operating hours. It's a hard time of year to think about going into the pool. So that's it. The next meeting is January 13th at 1:30.
Okay, thank you. And do we have anything on the Equestrian Center? Probably not, huh? That's a committee, an ad hoc committee?
Right.
Okay, we'll move on to D, report of GRF Landscape Committee.
Yes, I attended that.
Okay, Director Casey.
Yeah, it was a very informative meeting. We got to watch a really great video on how landscaping operates and all behind the scenes, and it's available on YouTube. You definitely need to watch it. You can see, where they grow the plants, the nursery, how they maintain the machinery. It's a really wonderful example of, our staff and what they do for us. And the next meeting is going to be February 9th at 1:30 p.m. Thank you.
All right, Director Casey, and Director Bastani, you probably weren't at the M&C GRF, right? So we'll move on to, and Director Casey, do you have anything on the Clubhouse Facilities Committee?
I was there.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yes, we talked about the clubhouses, we talked about the restrooms as well, and so on. So they are thinking that, I suggested that they tone down the restrooms, that they not be all automatic, but they said that in fact, they think the state may mandate that all the water be automatically controlled in the restrooms. So that may not be a question for us, but they're moving along, and they discussed the billiard room, and that does really need some updoing. So they're moving along. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Blackwell. GRF report of media and communications. Director Ardani, do you have anything to add to that?
Actually, we had the report from Director Pauline, and we have a report from the Director Paul Ortiz, and then we are started to focusing on our website and revise the village website usage policy and the community survey. And the next one is going to be December 20th. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Ardani. Now the Mobility and Vehicles Committee. Director Bastani, were you involved with that?
I was there.
Okay, Director Blackwell.
They have some new bus routes. They have a good package for the buses. If you contact them, they will send you a nice package which has the map of all the routes and the days and times and the telephone number of Lyft and so on. And we are working with, what's the name of it? The other bus company, I've forgotten the name. Another bus company is helping us. And so we are coming to agreement so that we will be using different sizes of buses and so on. We're working out an agreement with them. And that will be more efficient, and we will keep doing the maintenance here, we think. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Bastani. Do we have anybody giving a report on community access from the GRF?
Okay. I went to that one, of course, and it is similar to the other one. Oh, security and community. No, I wasn't there on that one.
Okay. Director Casey, do you have a report on disaster preparedness?
Well, I wasn't at the November 30th meeting. But they do have the next meeting on January 25th, 22. It is a very interesting committee. So if you have experience with disaster preparedness, like I'm a ham radio operator, and so I've had some experience in that regard. But yeah, so come to our meeting.
I'd like to add that we are in desperate need for building captains again. Everybody's kind of forgotten that over COVID, but we do need building captains to sign up again, and that was a very strong feature of Director Torn. He did a great job with that, but people have kind of drifted away now, so they will be doing some events to draw people in again. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Blackwell. Director Casey, I believe this is your favorite, right, ITAC?
My favorite. Yes, so I've been meeting with a group on Fridays, to talk about our investment in secure digital transformation, an ERP system, software system to replace what we have now, which is an AX and a Stellar, which is due for an upgrade. And as you know, the technology is moving to a cloud-based system with, all the pirates out there holding people hand. We need the new technology. And so this committee has been meeting on Fridays, and Chuck Holland is leading the meeting, and Jim Hopkins is our chair. And we have a lot of people that have a lot of experience in software technology. and including me. I've had some myself, in accounting software, and Debbie Dodson, and Lynn Jarrett, and Sue Margolis. They've all had experience. Jim Hopkins has had experience in this regard, and Bunny Carpenter is our member. And it's been a very great meeting. We've had demos from, well, they've narrowed it down to 3 softwares, and we've had demos from those softwares with staff, stakeholders, they call it, people that are going to be using this software. And, it's been amazing to see their participation. And so we have software engineers. Mark is IT, executive management, CPA, myself, finance and software installation people, and people that have been involved in software and management. So it's been great, and but now we need to find out about the money because now they know what we need and what's it going to cost us, So
Yeah.
anyway, thank you so much.
So your next meeting was the 17th, right?
Yeah, so it is a closed meeting right now because it is technical, and
Okay.
it's an ad hoc meeting, it's a temporary meeting, until we can make a recommendation. So,
Thank you, Director Casey. Item number 16 is future agenda items. And no action will be taken by the board on these agenda items at this meeting because we don't have anything on here. Item number 17 is director's comments. We'll start over here on the right with Director Lee.
Sorry, Mr. President, we didn't say about the traffic hearing. We had 2 hearings, and both of them is failure to obey a stop sign, and the next meeting is going to be December 15. And that tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And the other things that I wanted to ask from Grant to the committee assignment, if he can just email us whatever is happened, who is going to be a chair or the member, is going to be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Ardani. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. And Grant, did you?
I can email the committee assignments to the board.
Okay, thank you, Grant. All right, anything else? So we'll start with director's comments. We'll start with Director Lee.
Well, I'm just glad that this meeting has finally come to an end. I thought that this will never end. So, and I like all of us to leave if there's any bad feelings behind us, and let's look forward to productive year next year.
Thank you. Director English.
Yes, Anthony, I would like to speak with you after this, if you don't mind, please. And
Sure.
I agree with what my colleague here has said. It's very, very difficult sitting in a meeting like what we had today. And I don't know how we're going to beat it, I'm sure. But I have a few suggestions, okay?
Okay, thank you, Director English. Director Blackwell.
Every director is important. Every director has something to offer. Every director must be heard and must hear others. You really are valuable, and please use your value to help United. Thank you.
Director Casey.
Yes, I think that we are going to have better meetings. That we should all focus on that. We should be prepared and, come with a good attitude. So, thank you.
Thank you, Director Casey. Director Bastani, do you have any comments? I guess not. Director Cash Aquicar, do you have any comments?
I think we are coalescing into a good group, good leadership, Mr. Liberatore. Appreciate that. Have a nice one, and everybody have happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Cash, and take
Same
care
to
of
you.
yourself. Director Ardani.
First, happy holiday to all of you guys, and hopefully we have a nice and productive meeting in the future.
Thank you, Director Ardani. Director Torn.
I'm glad to hear Maggie said and other board members that said that everybody must be heard. However, in order to do that, we cannot say you are not allowed to talk. Okay, that is the biggest issue that we have is you are not allowed to talk, and then just vote. We can't even express to our members why we vote for something or what are the issues we have with voting in this way. And that also segue to the listening skill, right? So there are a lot of things that are very fine differences, okay? If you don't listen, you will never understand that. So we need to develop a listening skill. When you talk to the members, you will find out they have all different kind of information they want to provide you, and that needs to be, all the board members need to listen to that in order to understand their issues, rather than say, I give you the answer, you don't like it, go away, right? And the third thing is that I begin to notice that all the board members are talking about executions. Okay, that's management side. Our responsibility is the directive side. Where we set the vision that says we want to go this direction. You figure out how to do it in the details. That's the execution side. We give the vision, the direction side. So I would like to hear more of the vision side and how to measure our vision is achieved or not. Okay, rather than, I work with staff and solve this problem, solve that problem. Solving problem is not our job. It's staff's job. We help them set up direction. We measure their direction. That is our board. If you get into management, you will spend a lot of time. That's why people say the board director is a full-time job. Actually, it's not. Don't get into execution side. Don't get into the problem-solving side. They get paid to do that. They need to make the recommendation, and we tell them what's right or wrong. We don't make decisions for them, okay? And that's a lot of time the VMS complain that your board made a decision. No, that's totally unjustified. We don't make the decision. Our decisions are based on their recommendation and their explanation. So there is no such thing as board made a decision. We don't make decisions. We give directions. That's all we do. So I hope that all the board members begin to realize that our direction is what we're supposed to do, not execution directions, but vision directions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Torn. Director Casey.
Well, in order to have like an efficient meeting, we need to stick with the agenda. Those kind of things about visions and all that kind of start at the committee level. So we have to just think of that. But I do appreciate you have a lot of great ideas, Andre. Thank you.
Excellent point. Thank you. And now, since the agenda has been exhausted, we will recess. And on my clock, I have 12:52. So let's meet again. It's been a long meeting, so let's take some time off and we'll re-adjourn. We'll call to order at 1:30 in the Willow Room. Thank you very much.
Please be advised, those directors joining through Zoom, that there is a separate closed link. I will be sure to send out a reminder. Thank you.